Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the Monday, May 13th session of the Ware Board of Selectmen meeting to order at 6:47 PM. We did start at 6:30 this evening, for a non-public session for the purposes of interviewing candidates for Chase Park. If you'll join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. On the agenda next is public comment. If you come up to the podium, please state your name and address for the record.
We've got a couple people that are on the agenda. How do you want to handle that?
They can speak in public comment if they'd like.
Okay. Because Jason's here turn my speaker on. So Jason's here from the New Hampshire Timber Association for the not the site walk, for the kids' time out into the woods. And then David's here on behalf of the Energy Committee, which I forwarded you all. So neither one are on the agenda, but I just don't want them to miss the opportunity. That's why I'm asking.
Yep. Like to come up and speak?
I can start, I guess. Thanks.
Okay.
Some of you were here last time when I stopped by to say that we have a volunteer group of about 5 of us who've been meeting, looking into starting an energy committee for the town.
For the record, can you say your name, David?
David Erickson, sorry.
Thank you.
246 Port Farm Road.
Thank you. We have somebody that does the minutes for us, and she's not always here, or I'm sorry, she's not here.
That wasn't
Yeah,
on there.
yeah.
All right. David Erickson, 246 Port Farm Road here in Ware. And I'm here hoping that we can officially start our energy committee. And the purpose is basically saving money for the town. Secondary would be that we also can help reduce emissions while we're doing it. It's great that both of those things are possible. Naomi said I should come up with some bylaws for the committee, so I did. And rather than reading them to you, because I think you all have copies, I'll just say that this committee would serve at the pleasure of the selectmen. You would be the ones officially appointing members. I set it up to be 6 members, but a 7th for the times when one of you could join us. I don't think you want me to set it up that you need to send an ex officio member to every meeting, though you're welcome. But I said as needed, so that just to keep communication open. But that could be modified as you think it should be done. We'd stagger the terms. We'd have 6 people with 3-year terms, but start with 2 with 1-year terms, 2 with 2-year, and 2 with the full 3-year. We'd require a majority of those 6 to be voting members. At any particular meeting, we'd appoint officers at our first meeting, chairperson, vice chair, and secretary, and if we come to the point where we're handling money, we'll appoint a treasurer who would file a report for the town report, and we would file a yearly report as well for what we've been doing, but we'd hope to come back to you with information on ways that the town can save money, such as one of the biggest ones lately has been community power, that it is possible to buy power at a cheaper rate than you can get it from Eversource. So we research that and bring you information on how that looks and what the various ways of doing it are. There are groups that will kind of set it up for you so that we're not having to be lawyers and engineers, but we can bring you some proposals. I put down the duties of each of the officers here and some details about community power. We'd also like to look into the possibility of solar panels probably on town land. If this library addition ever could happen, we want to be sure that had good solar orientation and include that in the planning, because it can certainly help cover the cost of the energy used in those buildings. We'd also work with the schools. They have off and on, they've had an energy committee as well, I think, and I'd want to coordinate with them. And this committee, I assume, would just continue as long as it's useful, but the board could dissolve the committee at any time. And I wrote it that we could amend these if we gave notice a week ahead. Members of the committee
You said you had some
voted.
folks that are interested. Does
Yes.
Naomi have their names?
No, but I can give them to you.
Okay.
I've
And
got a couple names, because they have
You
been
probably,
meeting.
if you want to jot them down, Lori Gordon was the spark plug for getting this going. I'd like to be on the committee. Elizabeth Evans of, I think she's on Oak Hill Road. Christopher Conroy from Poor Farm Road. And when he's in the country, Paul Dosher, also Poor Farm Road, but he ends up in New Zealand for some months in the winter.
was this on the list of committees and boards that we sent out for requesting
'cause we-
volunteers?
we
I
haven't
didn't think it
established it
was.
yet.
Okay. So what we'll need to do, David, is advertise this to see if there's anyone else interested.
Yeah,
And that
be
is a
great.
2-week process minimum.
2
So
weeks.
we're probably looking at the latter part of June before we bring you all back here and do anything with this.
All right. And
I think before then, we would have to officially create it.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
put it out, and so.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah, that's what, we'd create it, and then they would be back the end of June probably.
that sounds, and then if these bylaws need changes, let me know.
Yeah, I haven't read through them. I did get a copy earlier today.
Good.
Everybody on the board did.
And then you could sign off on those when you,
You would need to have the committee in place and let the committee vote on them and adopt them first.
okay.
But we'd be glad to give you input just in advance.
Yeah, I passed it by them all informally, but.
Okay, good. Well, thank you
Great.
for your time tonight. Thanks for coming up.
thanks, David.
I'll just stay to see what's happening.
Well, good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Jason Stock. I'm with the New Hampshire Timberland Owners Association, and I appreciate you letting me speak tonight. I'm not a Ware resident. Actually, I live in Tilton, so, but I've attended enough meetings up there. I kind of know the process. I'm here to talk about the Waretown Forest and a forestry tour we're organizing. A little bit about us, so you know who I am. We're the New Hampshire Timberland Owners Association. We have landowner members, foresters, anyone in the woods business, processing wood, sawmills, loggers, etc. In fact, the town of Ware is a member of ours. You own a pretty good stitch of land as a town forest, and you folks are members. And one of the things that we do is outreach, education, communications. And one of the things that, like every other industry, every other vocation these days, everyone's scratching and looking for employees and help and work. And one of the things that we've noticed as a organization and as more broadly as an industry is that there's a lot of young adults, high schooler, CTE students that just don't even know you can make a living working in the woods and work in a pretty good living, and also in forest products manufacturing. And so a couple of years ago, we started organizing what we call field days, where it's kind of like a jobs fair. You'd have companies come in, and they would you'd have students, mostly, almost all high school students. We do get a couple eighth graders that'll trickle in, but mostly all high school students, CTE students, vocational ed students, and they'll come in and meet with Mills, kind of understand what this is all about, talk to arborists, et cetera. This year, we changed it up a little bit, so instead of bringing all the students to this job fair and having them meet sawmills and all, we're actually going out into the field, so to speak. We're going to do a tour over at HHP up in Henniker. It's a large hardwood sawmill up there. It's right by that, everyone knows where Dunkin' Donuts is. It's literally right back behind there. And then part of this is kind of where does the wood come from? And so we wanted to tour a forest and kind of have these students understand, all right, that 2x4, where does it come from? I was talking with the town forester, Jeremy Turner, a couple of weeks ago, saying we're still kind of looking for a site. As everyone knows, it's been very wet this year, and he says, I think I have a site, it's well drained. He said, I think it'll work for you. A lot of access, it's easy for a bus to get in and get students in and out of. And he said it was the town of Ware. John White is doing the timber harvesting, he's also a member of ours. And so he provided some information. Unfortunately, he was unable to attend the Concom meeting last week. And I got a call from Jeremy on, I think it was either Thursday or Friday, and said, hey, Jason, there was a bunch of questions, concerns about liability, kind of what's this all about? And so I spoke to Jeremy, and he said, well, and he's been talking to Benji as well about this, and he said, well, why don't you try to see if you can go to the meeting, the Selectmen's meeting, kind of explain what this is, kind of what we're planning to do, what we would like to do, and hopefully you folks can give us the green light and let us proceed with it. It's next Thursday is when we're doing it, and so, again, the timing is such that we were, because of the timing with Concom meetings and so forth. So I brought a schedule, and I can, I guess, approach the chair.
Yes, please.
I brought a copy of the schedule, kind of how the day flows.
Is that the 21st, or sorry, the 23rd?
24th.
24th. Thank you.
So on the 20th. Absolutely. And I can leave extras here, then. Yeah, actually, in fact, on the, was it the 24th, on the 21st, I think we're going to be up, it's the Tuesday, we're going to be up in Bath looking at H.G. Woods. It's a white pine mill. Anyway, the way the day flows is we have two concurrent tours. We're going to have young adults at the sawmill and then at the forest. They'll take a look, hop in the bus, eat your lunch on the bus, and then switch. And so, so that's the plan. They'll have an opportunity to meet loggers, meet a forester, see a modern sawmill, learn about how artificial intelligence, yes, even artificial intelligence is now in the timber business, and it kind of learn how the evolution of these facilities. And they will have personal protective equipment. We've went out, we've got hard hats, eye protection, ear protection. We have forms signed by them, the acknowledgement forms that they're, attending this. And I also took the liberty this morning, because I knew liability was a concern, I asked our carrier to have the town of Ware, should you so choose, listed as additionally insured. Again, this was a concern that was raised at the Conservation Commission meeting. And so that you folks don't feel like, hey, we're going to have, a bunch of high schoolers out there, they're going to be chaperoned. We have quite a few chaperones. I think some of the chaperones are more interested in the tours than the students. But we have a lot of chaperones coming, so it's going to be a supervised event. Like I said, we've done these before, a little different format, but we have UNH Cooperative Extension who will be there in force with a bunch of county foresters helping to manage and move students around. We have some safety folks coming as well, just to kind of make sure that, you know, things are proceeding and folks are being safe. So anyway, that's my kind of an explanation of who we are, what we would like to do and why. And I'm happy to try to answer questions. I did bring a copy. I guess Jeremy provided this as well, kind of where it would take place. We actually drive through there's a sand pit behind the Public Works Recycling Center. And so that's kind of show you where it would be taking place. And we're going to have two groups. We'll have one group that's going to be looking at the woods. We'll have another group on the log landing itself, learning about, you know, what the different trees are, what they're used for, how they're processed, and what goes into making paper, what goes into making lumber, different types of lumber, things of that nature. Right now, we have about 80 students scheduled. We're splitting them, and then we're splitting them again. So if you think about it, we're going to have groups of 15 to 20 in the woods, on the landing, and of course in the sawmill is your other half, and then they flip-flop switch. So it's not like we're having hordes of young adults descending on the town forest, so we are going to be managing them.
What's the approximate ratio of adults or chaperones to students?
We have, each group brings, I'd say easily, we're looking at 5 to 6 students per adult. That's a conservative. It's probably more. We have some homeschoolers coming as well, so there's a 1-to-1 with that. But it's a pretty good ratio. And again, we have a ton of cooperative extension county foresters, folks from the university that will be there as well.
So you're coordinating all of the activities.
There's no
anything from the town other than to.
We just want to use the site. Actually, I spoke to Jeremy. I said we had the conversation earlier. He says, "Look, he's an NHTOA member as well. He says I'm volunteering as an NHTOA member. I'm not charging the town for any of my time. We basically just want to use the town site to show what's going on." And kind of what we would like, what this is all about, what this thing called forestry and forest management's all about. You guys have a very nice site, well-trained soils, good trees, and so it checks a lot of boxes for us.
And Thursday is not a transfer station day, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
It's not open to the public.
Right. Yeah, so we wouldn't have to worry about other traffic going through there.
Gotcha.
All right. Well, I know they did talk about this at the Conservation Commission last week, and they said it was a little short notice. Was that their only issue?
With short notice, trying to coordinate with the liability waivers, things of that nature. We didn't know what the liability situation was as far as your group. So there were a number of things that trying to get together in a short order didn't seem feasible. One was tonight's meeting was a little packed, trying to get that in here, but you squeezed it in, so. But that, again, liability waiver, we don't have a generic town liability waiver. And
Which is, I think, why you were told to do the additional insured.
Yeah. And this is standard practice. I mean, we have the same question we're going to be taking him into a sawmill. A lot of sharp things that moves quickly in there. And so we have similar, we do this quite a bit. I mean, that's one of the things that we do, and this case, it's.
Are they signing a waiver that there's no liability to the site you're visiting? I know.
Having each student sign a waiver?
Right.
No, we're not getting to that level of having each, high school student. We're lucky enough to get them to, but they know, and we've had them sign other, the teachers would say, hey, we have a form that explains what they're doing, that they need to be, that they will be supervised. We can, are there any restrictions on photographs? All that stuff that as a parent you consider. So we do have those boxes checked and covered. So,
Any other questions for Jason?
I like the idea a whole lot.
I
I mean-
personally do too.
and you're welcome to attend if you so choose to let us do it. Use your site. You're welcome to attend as citizens of Ware and interested people that are interested in trees and forestry.
We probably do need to contact our town attorney just to make sure that they don't need anything else other than what you've already got.
Okay.
I think that pretty much would probably come back as, no, you've got it covered, but I'm not a lawyer. And I don't even try to play one on TV.
That's fine.
And then we'd like to check with the Conservation Commission probably as well, just to make sure they didn't have any other issues that we didn't know about.
Sure.
Don't anticipate that either, but just a check. So, and then I think we can talk about this later this evening and other business and see what we want to do for sure.
I think-
But if we decide to proceed, I would think those are the two things we need to check.
If, my only request is if you could, if you decide no, we have to really scramble to find another, this
And
was,
if it's yes, but we've got to do these two things, we'll let you know that as well.
yeah.
And Naomi has your contact info?
Yes, she does. She has my phone number as well as my email address, so if you could let us know the next day or two, that would be great. Thank you so much for your time tonight. I know you have a full schedule, but I appreciate you.
Coming in.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks, Jason.
So how do we get, you said you want to talk to conservation.
Well, I just need to make sure they didn't have any other issues.
But how do we talk to them without a meeting?
I don't know, might not be able to,
I was going to defer to you,
yeah,
as, you were there in the room.
yeah.
That's pretty much what the conversation was. Naomi can
Yeah.
back that up.
Okay.
I mean, actually, I think they were thinking of it's too short notice, we'll just let them know to do something else, and that's when this all occurred.
They wanted to do it, but that was it, trying to get back together. It was in a week and a half,
Yeah.
not in another month, so.
Okay. Well, I'd like to bring this back up when we
Sure.
get to other business, because we've got a lot of people sitting here waiting to go, so, if that's all right with you guys?
That's fine.
Anyone else for a public comment before we move on? Okay, great, thank you. Reappointment and appointment of committee members for the zoning board. Mr. Dearborn, you're up.
Greetings.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. Well, appreciate your continued interest in the zoning board. How long have you been on the board?
36 years. I've been 36 years not on the board, so it means I'm 72, so.
So by the time you're done, you'll have been on the board longer than not.
Well, when I leave here, I think that'll be it. I just had my birthday.
Okay. All right. Why do you want to continue to serve?
It's an honor and a privilege. My family's been in town for 8 generations, came here in the 1700s. My grandfather, great-grandfather, so many grandfathers back, have all done select board members, been involved in the town, and for me, it's just give back. So I got some competencies that I learned going to school and working for VA systems for 36 years, so I figure I can put them to good use.
And do you have any business or personal conflicts which might impact your ability to make decisions in the best interest of the town?
I have no business in the town of Ware. I do have an LLC, but I haven't really done anything since I left the company. I used to do some consulting for them. I don't do any business. I don't own anything other than my own property in the town of Ware.
Okay. And there's some available training, which I don't know if 36 years if you need it or not, but it's there under the New Hampshire Office of Planning and Development that are specific to zoning board of adjustments. Are you aware of that, and have you taken any of it?
I have in the past, and I believe there's also some stuff online.
Yeah, that's where it
So
was.
I kept up, I try to keep up with that, plus making sure that the latest RSA changes for the 674 series, 672, for land use, making sure we're up to speed on that as well. Because sometimes they slide a change to the, for instance, for the variance process. Seems like every 10 years there's a major lawsuit which drives the change, which has to change the whole principles by which you consider the 5 points of hardship.
What questions do you gentlemen have for Mr. Dearborn?
I think you covered it.
I got one. Are there any circumstances where the select board of the town would override or make decisions for the zoning board?
Well, that's a good question. Actually, other than appointment and removal of people from the zoning board, the select board doesn't get involved with the ZBA. We go through a hearing process where somebody doesn't like the decision we make. It's an open process. And after that, it's a direct appeal to Superior Court. After that, it's Supreme Court of New Hampshire. So there is an innocuous, I don't believe it's been used recently, under 674-41, where a decision by the select board on the use of a Class 6 private road. There is allowed for a review by the ZBA to be an appeal for that. It's never been asserted in the positive. In other words, we've overturned the selectmen. Nobody's ever done that, but they have affirmed the selectmen decision. I don't think that's ever going to happen, because I think that's one of those creatures of statute that kind of crept in there when they did the law and never really thought it through. I just don't think that's even a possibility. We don't get involved in changing the zoning. That's done by the planning board. We don't even get involved in that. We're here as an appeal. We hear basically 4 issues. Variances, which you need to meet the 5 points of hardship called out by the RSA. We don't get a vote. It's under 674-33. Equitable waiver for a dimensional requirement. It's 2 flavors. One is, if you've been over 10 years and nobody told you to stop, you can appeal for that, and you kind of get it by rote, if you will. You get it by right. The next one is, if you're under 10 years and you discover it, that you made a mistake in terms of measuring off the boundary line, you want to bring it forwards, and the town has not told you you have a problem, you can appeal for that as well. Administrative appeal is one of those things where if a building inspector, planning board, anybody that makes a decision on behalf of the town, an agent, if you will, they make a decision, it should be done in writing. If the person who that decision was done against or for doesn't like it, they can appeal it as administrative appeal of an agent of the town, building inspector, planning board's interpretation of zoning. And the last one is special exceptions, which is has to be called out specifically in the zoning. And really what it is, you get it by right if you meet the conditions. Just allows for somebody else to take a little deeper look than trying to write a tome for all the conditions you'd have to meet. So it allows for independent review.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
I got one other. I was at the deliberative, I sat behind you, and the gentleman next to you let you know who the 3 candidates were for running for select board.
Who's that?
The gentleman sat next to you. I won't mention his
To
name.
my right or to my left?
He was on, where I was sitting, he was on your right, I was in back of you.
That's Bruce Fillmore.
And when he said that, your response was, I guess it's a ceasefire. And I'm just wondering what that comment meant.
What's that?
You said, I guess it's a ceasefire, and I'm wondering
heard
what
of
that comment meant.
I never said that.
You can say never said, but I heard you say it.
Well, I'm just saying I have no idea.
Okay.
Any other questions for Mr. Dearborn?
Nope.
Okay. All right, Jack, if you'll stick around, we're gonna talk to Mr. Moret and Mr. Bauer, and then, do all the voting at once.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Moret?
It's Mark Moretti.
Moretti?
Yeah.
Moret.
Yeah,
Moretti.
it's always mistaken.
Oh, sorry.
It's all right.
Thank you. And you're currently on the zoning board as well, correct?
Correct, yep.
And how long have you been on?
I'm gonna guess at this and say somewhere around 8, 10 years, something like that.
Okay. So what do you like about being on the board?
Well, I like the different stimulation from day-to-day construction kind of stuff, you know, so it's good. Have to use my brain in a different manner.
That's always a good thing. And do you have any business interests or personal conflicts which might impact your ability to make decisions based on the
No, I had a,
interest of the town?
I don't think so. I had a HVAC company that I operated for a while out of town. No longer operating that. So no, the reason mainly when I started on this on the board, it was I have 4 kids in this school system, and I always thought that it was important that everybody give back some way to the community. I mean, and I'm not a firefighter, so this is how I do it. It's nice for the kids to see Dad doing something like this. That's mainly what it was for, to start, yeah. But, yeah, it's nice to see the activity in town, and, yeah.
Are you aware of the training that New Hampshire Office of Planning and Development has?
I've looked into it a little bit. I haven't done much of any with it. I mean, honestly, I'm still learning stuff at the meetings. You know, there's a lot of information. I do like the structure of it because there's no fluff, I guess I would say. You know, there's no emotional. It's interpreting the law, and you know, is that being met? And it's structured, and I like it because of that.
Would you be willing to take any of that training? You said you're still learning, so
Oh yeah.
training is online. It's
Yeah,
at your own
yeah, and again, like I've dabbled in it, but I mean, I haven't full-fledged gone through stuff. Yeah.
Any other questions for Mr. Moretti?
Thank you.
Nope, I'm good.
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate your time.
Mr. Bauer is not here.
Oh, okay. All right. Have you heard from him? Is he on his way?
Did not.
Okay, all right.
He did go to the ZBA meeting the last time and talked about his interest and willingness to learn. And when he left, I invited him to Monday night's meeting for the appointment with you. But he may have had to work. I did not hear from him.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. All right, so that gives us only two persons to act on. I'd accept a motion to reappoint Jack Dearborn to a 3-year term on the zoning board. His appointment would expire on April 1st, 2027. Would anyone like to move that?
So moved.
Thank you. And anyone like to second that? Okay. Without a second, it doesn't move forward. Just want to make sure that's what we're... Any discussion, or we'd like to move on? I'll second it, and we can vote. Any discussion? All those in favor say yes or yay?
Yes.
Yes. Opposed?
Nope. No.
Okay. The motion does not pass. To accept a motion to reappoint Mr. Mark Moretti for a 3-year term to the zoning board.
So moved.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say yes or yay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? Motion passes 4-0. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your time
So,
tonight.
Mark, you might
Yep, we're gonna swear you in.
gotta be sworn in.
Oh.
Selectman Pratt is gonna do that for you.
I'll read it off, just repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Mark Murray,
Do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge and perform
discharge and perform
all the duties incumbent upon me as a zoning board member,
all the duties incumbent upon me as a zoning board member,
according to the best of my abilities,
according to the best of my abilities,
agreeably to the rules
agreeably to the rules
and regulations
and regulations
of this Constitution
of this Constitution,
and the laws of the state of New Hampshire,
and the laws of the state of New Hampshire,
so help me God.
so help me God.
So,
And you sign this, please.
Mark, you sign here,
God,
you sign there, it doesn't matter. Signs. This one.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
You too. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah,
Very nice meeting you.
yeah, you as well.
Okay, that brings us to Luke Drake. He's here from the Ethics Committee. He's gonna, I think, ask us a question. Is that correct?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Luke Drake, 141 Duck Pond Road. So I was asked to provide some background on the question. I sent an email. Hopefully you've all had the opportunity to read that. And it has the question in there. It's pretty straightforward. During our last meeting, there was a discussion that came up about, it's clear to everyone regarding the ethics rules, how they apply. What is not as clear is a 3-page document that was, or page 2, 3 are numbered, that were stapled to a copy at the town office. The minutes from previous meetings call out the code of conduct. They don't address the implementation guidelines. And although the word ordinance is used in the write-up, there's no record of an ordinance in any of the town records, including on the town website, under ordinances. So why this is important to the committee is just to determine, do we have any flexibility outside of those implementation guidelines, to adapt to current circumstance, or do those, in fact, hold the force of an ordinance, in which case we would have no flexibility and that's the question. As I heard earlier, I'm not a lawyer. There's no attorneys on the committee, so that's why this boiled down to a question for the legal folks. I'm happy to answer what questions I can. I will say, I'm not the chair of the committee. I am on the subcommittee that developed the question, so I can answer questions to that in my best understanding, but I can't speak for the committee as a whole.
But just to clarify, though, you are here as a representative from
I
the
am.
committee. They asked you to
They
come to
did,
us.
in fact.
All right.
I saw they asked you to come and generate the question.
Well, they actually asked us, formed a subcommittee at the last meeting. That was myself and Carl Hallstrom, and we together worked on forming the question. This was after some initial research to try and find out if there was an obvious answer in the record, which we obviously could not find.
I'm assuming you've looked through town minutes to see if
Yes.
there's any.
Yeah, that's all listed on, I included the email from the chair of the committee that went through all of the things that she looked at, including all town minutes, the record at UNH, of all of those discussions. And we were particularly looking for, was there, any specific mention of those guidelines as part of the code. So either way, I don't think there's an attachment to the answer. We just need it answered so we know how to proceed.
What questions do you guys have for Mr. Drake?
I didn't have any questions. It was very thorough what you sent us, both your email and the attached email. I guess where I landed, based on reading all this, and, you've re-summarized it, was my gut says, no, you are not bound by that, but I think we should ask town council.
Yeah, that's the same conclusion I came to, was that, the document itself is numbered page 1 of 2, 2 of 2. It's not 2 of 5, 1 of 5.
Right, and one of the other significant complications to the idea that it was an appropriately passed ordinance and that the members of the town had an opportunity to review it completely was it doesn't appear to have ever been posted on the website. And that's important because the discussion at the town meeting suggests that all of that information will be available in the town office and on the town website.
Right.
And they were not, or at least, again, we can find no record of that.
Anything else? Okay, so I think, the crux of this is you want to take it to legal counsel, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And I don't think anyone here has any objection to that.
No objection.
Okay.
Very well.
Yeah, so thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Appreciate all the research and,
Do you want Luke to reach out to town council, or?
I think normally
As-
you do that, don't you?
Exactly.
Okay.
I watched the meeting, did you have one this month?
Yes. Well, it's May, it was in April.
But you're gonna have
So
one
I-
Thursday night.
I think I watched the one in April. I'm not sure that the board actually voted to go to the lawyer.
No, we don't have the authority to vote to go to the lawyer. We only have the authority to vote to come ask you if we can take a question to the lawyer. And that's based on other town policy that says all questions for the town attorney must come to the board before they go and must be reduced to writing.
I just thought the policy was their board voted to go to the attorney before they came here.
So at one point Wendy came, I think before you were on the board, Wendy came and met with you guys and asked if, when they were developing forms and everything else that they've done, they had a couple of questions along with the FAQs and things like that. And I wasn't here that night, but you guys talked with Wendy and you let her have correspondence with town council for, I think you might have given her 2 or 3 hours. And then now it's generated a few more questions, which is, Wendy couldn't be here, that's why Luke came.
Yeah.
But there is no funds for them, that's why they're an elected group. So they came here to ask permission for us to go and ask town council, because they don't have a budget.
So I think the process is that Naomi contacts the attorney, so.
Okay, and you have a copy of the question and the background, so,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I will let you know that our turnaround time isn't exactly stellar these days, so I don't know what's up with the legal profession, but everybody seems really backlogged.
It's a busy time for the courts, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
thank
But
you.
the answer will go back to their board as well, though, right?
Mhm.
Not just us, and then?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
Anything else?
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think that brings us to department head and committee items, and first up is Chief Rorick. Good evening.
Good evening. My apologies, I was here last week, but I was also on duty, so we had a call and had to get out of here, so. A couple of things that was, that the board had asked about, a number of weeks ago now. I could first start out with the 2023 report that was in the town report for the year, and you guys had some questions about that.
I was just looking for an explanation, because there's a lot of categories, and I didn't bring a copy in front of me, but there's a lot of categories, and are they all supposed to add up? Because they don't.
There was a,
Just curious.
when I looked at it, when this first came out, it was naturally already printed. There was a discrepancy in the amount of emergency medical services. There was only 55 calls, and clearly we did more than that. We did
That would be the typo.
551.
Okay.
So the one was missing out of that. I apologize about that. But the categories that we have are, I'll just go over them really quick, not to take up too much time, but fires and structures, other fires, emergency medical service, motor vehicle accidents, false alarms, mutual aid, hazardous material response, hazardous condition response, all other responses, and then our total. And also on the bottom of that, and again, this is in the town report, so overlapping incidents as a percent of the total incidents was, I'll start with that, that was 11%. That's when we have multiple calls where we're out on one call and another call comes in and they're overlapping. That's what that 11% is. So 11% out of our total calls were overlapped to one another. We had multiple calls going on at the same time.
Okay, so they're not where you went out to a motor vehicle accident and you also had to do hazardous cleanup?
Correct, correct,
Okay.
yes. Fires and structures are just what it was, and I'll just go down quick for the numbers. We had 12 in 2023. Other fires, we had 22, and other fires is pretty much classified, like if we went to multiple, like lawnmower fires, ATV fires, burning or whatever. It's just different other type of fires that we went to. Emergency medical service and calls. We did 51 motor vehicle accidents. False alarms was 65. So that's, we went out to private residence, had alarm, smoke from cooking, something like that. Sometimes where mutual aid was given. So we went to another town to help out another town. Hazardous materials response was 9. Now that's like, that would be like a gas spill, the bombing incident, the bombs that we had in town, that would be in that number. Hazardous conditions response is 79. Hazardous conditions would be anything grouped under, like if we get a call for a CO detector or something like that, we would go out to the house for that. And all other responses was 21, and that's just miscellaneous stuff that does not fit into this group. Moving on to the bottom, for the EMS side of things, advanced life support, we did 251 ALS calls. That usually involves anything to do with cardiac, like a cardiac workup or anything like that. Pain medication, anything that a paramedic, an advanced or a paramedic can do, that's what your ALS calls are. Basic life support was 91 calls we did, and no transports were 202. There is a difference of 7 in there. I don't know what happened to the 7, I can't tell you, but it's, they could have been, these numbers were just pulled from the computer by putting in these parameters and it pulls it. So maybe the 7 people were classified as those calls are classified as something else that's not in this group. Now we do a 10-year look back on this, okay? So it goes from 2014 to 2023, and like next year, we'll be at 2015 to 2024. I can tell you just some kind of interesting facts. Last year we did 851 calls, or 2023 rather, we did 837. In 2022 we did 851. So we did a little less calls. So we were down. It ended up being like 1.6% or so. In that ballpark. We are, if you look at the 10 years from 2014 to 2023, we're actually up 19.4% for our call volume, all right? And you take the population of Ware from 2014 to 2023, and that's only increased 1.1% in that 10-year period. So we're definitely getting busier. I could tell you our medical calls are probably going to be going up as well as our mutual aid. The run cards, what fire departments run off of and call if they want mutual aid, they look and they say, okay, this town is the next due in. That has been changed, and I talked to Chief Morse and Henniker because they had outlying towns that they're calling into Pat's Peak that are 15, 20 minutes away, 25 minutes away, and we're 7 minutes down the road. So it was just a kind of an oversight that now we're full-time. We have full-time people sitting there. I would say a good, at least even now, 75% of the time there's a paramedic, either myself or the captain are there. And we have one of the lieutenants is going through paramedic school now. So we do have ALS coverage, and I suspect probably this next upcoming year we're going to be heading over to the peak a little bit more than we normally do.
That makes sense. Thank you, I really appreciate it.
And if anyone else has any other questions on that, please just feel free to email me or stop by the station, and I can answer them for you.
I missed that email. Did you send that to us in an email or?
No.
Oh, okay.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
I was like, how
You
did I
have a
miss
question,
that?
email.
Yeah.
Nope. So anything else on that? No? Okay. What I did send you was a strategic plan. My apologies if you could barely read it, because it was a little, and it is a little tiny. It is a little tiny. So what questions do you have on the strategic plan? I know that the strategic plan was laid out by Interim Chief Olson and myself. We went through, the department had input, everyone in the department had input in this. It was a department-wide, all the way from the full-time people to the call department, and everybody, the secretary, everybody had input into this plan. And basically, it's what we can do to do better. The plan, as you look at it, it does have check-in and due dates, and it also has ownership on there. And it was just basically to give people, the members of the department, basically different jobs to do to try to make the department better. Since we had 3 people depart, So out of that, a lot of this is kind of like up in the air right now. Things that I have been working on are everything that doesn't cost anything, okay? There's a lot of things in the strategic plan that are also tied to money, which we don't have. So, as much as we're trying to get done, it's all on the things that don't cost any money that we can do, as far as like getting training records or, identifying different water supplies and making sure like our cisterns are up to date and inspected, and we go out and we pump the dry hydrants and pump sites and things like that. But it goes all the way through through training to who's going to do the maintenance on who we have. Lieutenant Meady's in charge of the maintenance. That was one big thing we did, put him in charge of that. So he's doing that. So we are getting things done. We are getting things checked off on the list. Again, some of them need money, so those are going to have to either be addressed, as we get money to address them.
How are those notated that they're on hold pending funding?
I don't have anything on here. I just go through if it says the ownership on it and the due dates. Again, some of the things this was done prior to like last year's budget, and when I presented last year's budget, a lot of these things were going to be incorporated in that. But since the budget didn't pass, naturally, again, we can't do that.
Can this be updated to at least?
It can absolutely be updated, and it will be as soon as I get some more employees to work on that, and I get those bodies back in there. Then we're in the process now of kind of, even now, just our basic tasks that we have to do. We're in the process of reassigning that stuff so we could just get by and keep at least tread water for right now, if not moving forward slowly. But once we get some more bodies in there, we'll be doing a lot better off again. These things will be reassigned again, and the things that we have done already, I have not crossed off on the ones that I sent you. I didn't take them out, but I have, back at the office, I have stuff that we have already done that's already crossed off, and we don't naturally have to do that.
So
It's
this
already
isn't
done.
100% up to date then?
No,
Okay.
nope, not at all.
Yeah,
Not at all.
It's concerning when you start looking and you see all the due dates that have passed by. And
You would need a department of like 300 people to do this in the time frame, but we had to put a time frame down on it. So, Chief Olson and myself just picked that.
I think it comes down to if it's something that we can't get to and it's not of the utmost importance. I don't know what the timeline is to get this all implemented, but it would figure could be fairly important if it's your strategic plan. So I would just like to see it prioritized. And if stuff we can't work on because of budget or whatever, push those dates out to next year if that's the reality.
Okay.
That's budget
Yep.
oriented.
Yep, absolutely, when we could do that.
Picture
Sure.
of what your priority is.
Yep.
Can you estimate what % of it is complete as far as implementation?
I can't right now.
Okay.
I can't give you that figure. I will be able to give you that figure, but I can't give you that figure right now. I don't have that top of my head. I wouldn't want to speculate that. Again, I had people assigned to this, and
No, I
they're
understand.
no longer assigned. They're not working for us anymore.
Yeah, I was just trying to get an idea of,
Yep.
are we 20%, 50%, 80%, anything like that? Any other questions for Chief?
Yeah, is this all in the spreadsheet?
What's that?
I'm assuming it's an Excel spreadsheet,
This is what I got from Chief Olson.
so you just got a paper copy right now?
I got a paper copy. I could check with Chief Olson, and see if he still has that in his files, because that would make my life tremendously easier if it
Yeah,
was
so
an
at least if
Excel
you had a
spreadsheet.
spreadsheet, you could number the tasks and say, this
Correct.
many are completed.
Yep.
and-
Yeah.
Okay, anything else on that? And I'll work on that, getting that stuff broken down for you.
Yeah, I understand you're still doing firefighter duty, so we
I'm doing,
comprehend that.
yeah, I'm still doing two different jobs, but we're making it. We're doing good. Kudos to the staff, to the men and women over there that are making it happen. So
How's morale?
team, it's actually pretty good. It's actually pretty good. We're kind of just all right in as a team, and we know that there's possibly some light at the end of the tunnel, and eventually it's going to get there. I do have, with that being said, we're working on I have two people in background checks and physicals for the call department. So I'm pretty happy about that. And I'm crossing my fingers still, and I don't want to jinx it, knock on wood, but I think we have one of the positions is going to be filled probably within the next month or two.
The
So,
administrative one that you talked about last time?
nope, this is going to be a firefighter's position that's vacant out of the three.
How about the administrative? You said
The
you-
administrative assistant, we have put on Brittany Marcotte. I'm going to get to that, but since you brought it up, I'll go right to
A couple
it.
weeks ago. so-
I'll go right to it. Yes, it was a couple weeks ago. I said that we had someone in mind, and Brittany Marcotte was a former member of the Ware Fire Department. She was on the call company. And she took a leave of absence, but she has decided to come back and take the position as a secretary for 20 hours a week. So you guys will be probably maybe meeting her next week, or next meeting. I don't know if you know her, but you will by next meeting, just so she can introduce herself. And that paperwork and everything else like that was all done up through Beth did that for us. So it was nice and easy because it was kind of a leave of absence and then coming back to work type thing. So it was a nice, easy transition for once. Let's see, some other news. Any questions? I'm sorry. Any questions on that? Questions, comments, concerns?
Maybe you'll get to it, but since it's sort of hiring, how are things looking for finding a substitute for you while you step out for a month?
That's you guys.
Say that again?
Yeah.
Assistant chief position while he goes for his.
The interim chief.
Oh, the interim?
Yep.
Well, I've called MRI and didn't get a call back.
Okay.
And then I've called one of the area chiefs that has retired but is not subject to the retirement, so he's thinking about it.
All right. Did you let her know the people that you've contacted? 'Cause that
Yeah.
was
I
my
had talked
question.
to.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
so I didn't
yes.
call those.
Sorry, I forgot that's where we left it, so.
Yep, nope. That's fine.
So,
Do we need to put a formal RFP out to MRI?
I wanna see what he says,
Right.
but I don't know. I'm sure he,
are you gonna try that?
yeah. I gave him my cell phone number to try me tomorrow, so.
Okay.
Anything else on that? We're moving on. Okay, the new ambulance, I called where we get our radios from, Ossipee Mountain Electronics, and Motorola has pushed out the date for the mobile radios a little bit further, into July. So instead of having a brand new ambulance sitting in the bay where we can't do anything with because the state will not inspect it without having radios in it, I made the decision to take the older radios that we took out of the ambulance that we got rid of, and Ossipee Mountain mounted those temporarily into the vehicle so we can get the vehicle inspected. Captain Hood, I believe, made an appointment, so within the next week and a half, the state's gonna come out and inspect the ambulance. They'll give us our inspection sticker on that, and then we can start running that ambulance and put it into service. When the radios come in, that ambulance will head back up to Ossipee Mountain Electronics, and they will swap out the radios. Some of the stuff they put in is permanent. They did some of the work that was going to be done anyway. So, but the radios are going to be swapped out for the new radios, which was in the budget of the ambulance. So it's not. We're just waiting on Motorola.
Will that have to be inspected a second time with the new
No,
radios?
nope. It's just that the state of New Hampshire will not issue you an ambulance license unless you have a permanently mounted, because we tried to get away with just putting a portable in there, but they said no, that it had to be permanently mounted into the vehicle. So that's why I figured we'll spend a little bit of money, but we'll at least still get the ambulance out on the road and stop putting the mileage on the other one that we have.
You said the inspection's next week, is that what you said?
I'm not sure. Captain Hood said that I believe the state was out like a week and a half. So we're kind of on the mercy of the state. There's only 2 people in the entire state that go around and inspect ambulances. So
maybe the next 3 weeks or so?
I would hope by the end of this month that ambulance is on the road and we're using it. What else?
Sorry, can you just go right back to that? So you said by the end of the month, would that be with the new radios at the end of the month, or the
No,
temporary? Okay.
nope.
So then.
The temporary radios.
I thought that's what I understood, but then.
Yep, and having the radio swap, that's literally like a day.
Yep.
It just has to go up to Northfield, right outside of Tilton. You get off Tilton exit, and it's like a mile away from like where the mall is and stuff like that. The outlet mall, it's like a mile away from there. And they will install the radios. Like I said, it's like a day. And the radios have already been paid for. That's all out of the ambulance, was built into the price of the ambulance and stuff like that. So we're just, again, waiting on that.
That would be sometime in July, right?
Supposedly, yeah. I mean, it's been moved up, hopefully. It's been moved up, just like everything, supply chain issue, whatever you want to call it. 3 years for the ambulance and a year for the radios. So. Another thing I just want to mention to you guys, we did get the utility truck. If you see it, you're driving by the station, it's out front. I'm not so sure about the body on that. Now, this happened before I got here, and actually when Chief Olson came as the interim chief, I remember the first week we tried to call Donovan and cancel the body because it wasn't really going to do what we wanted to do. So, and we couldn't cancel it. So it's on the truck now. And it's really not going to be, it's not what we need. It's not going to be effective in what we're trying to do with that vehicle. I'm not sure the previous chief, the vision he had for it, but looking at it and talking with the other members and stuff like that, I'm not so sure we're going to be able to use that body. That being said, I have reached out, and it's too bad he's not here. I have reached out to Jason at Highway, and I don't know, it's more of like a mechanic's body, which he may very well be able to use. And what we would end up doing is when we got rid of the Ford pickup truck that we have now, the Ford utility truck, it has aluminum flatbed on it with some side boxes on each side. We would take, before that goes to, probably ends up going to White Farm. I don't know if the highway wanted that or not, but it does have a plow on it. But before that goes anywhere, we would take the body off of that and put it on our new pickup. And I think that would work out a lot better. Again, we tried to stop this whole procedure way back when, but that the previous chief had already put a deposit down on it. The box was ordered, and it was already in production, supposedly, even though that took a year to get. So I just want to make you guys aware of that, and I still have not talked face-to-face with Jason on that to see if, in fact, that's something that he can use. If he can't, then I guess I would like to see if there's other avenues where we could possibly sell that. It's brand new, so, possibly sell it. And again, where someone might be waiting, instead of waiting a year plus for a body, they'd be able to buy this one and get going right away.
And who did we get that from?
Donovan Equipment in Londonderry.
Can you reach out to Donovan, see if they can resell it?
I could. They weren't very,
Cordial?
I'm trying to use correct word. Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, they didn't want, pretty much once it was ordered, it's yours. They didn't really want anything to do with it. So,
Yeah, we're not.
Possibly I could reach out to them and say, hey, if you guys have someone who are looking for a body and we can sell it or they can sell it, then,
I'm not asking for them to buy it back.
yeah, it doesn't fit. Again, I don't know what the vision was, but it absolutely does not fit the needs of what we need it for.
Yeah, I would definitely reach out to them, just see if they would entertain
Okay.
reselling.
Yep, I can. And that truck is also, it hasn't been put into service yet, for the simple fact is I don't want to put anything in the body if we're not, if I don't want to do anything to it, so. But we're also waiting on the same, when the Motorola radio comes in for the ambulance, the radios were ordered for that pickup truck also at the same time, so then the truck will go to be upfitted, and stuff like that, so by doing if we take the body off the other one, the upfit is gonna be a lot less money because that already has some lights on it and stuff like that, so instead of buying the stuff over again, we could just reuse it and save some money.
Plus,
When will you know if you can take the old body off?
I just have to get touch base with Jason, he's been super busy, and so have I, so it's just a matter of, I told him to just, when I saw him, I said, swing by the station, take a look to see if it's something that he can use, even if he took it off and put it on a pallet and put a tarp over it for a year until he got a truck or something for it, to put it on. It would probably work for him a lot better than it's gonna work for us. So, but I will call Donovan,
Yeah.
and I'll have that answer for you. I'll get an answer, see what they say. They may have a client that is looking to buy one of those or something. The last thing, any questions? I always run away with this.
We're not shy, we'll stop you if you
Okay,
move on. and-
great, throw something at me, it's okay, I'm looking down, and it's
Thank
okay.
you for considering that, though.
The last thing I have to say is I went around with Tim today to the different stations and made a list of everything that kind of requires some little bit of help. And I believe he's going to be getting that list together and sending it to Naomi so she could take a look at it. I just want to say that he's an awesome dude. He's a really good guy, and he's been very helpful to us. And he has a lot of. I probably have 2+ months work for him to do just with the stuff he has to do that I asked him to do with the stations, between rotting overhangs, stuff that is just really unsafe, into just doing some other stuff just to try to improve the condition of the stations, which that's, town-owned stuff, so it's just improving the looks and the longevity of the buildings, but kudos to Tim. So that's all I have, unless you guys have any questions, comments, concerns.
Mark, do you have an update on the EOP for us?
Yes, the EOP, thank you. The EOP, I talked to Olin up at Mapping, and the next phase will be to go to the town department heads. He's going to be reaching out to DPW, the police department, and probably you, Naomi, the town administrator side of things, and starting to collect information. I'm pretty much done. I just have to send him what the town has basically for our website information, if we have any Facebook stuff or stuff like that, Instagram, Twitter accounts or whatever. Once I get that over to him, that's pretty much done. I'll have my portion to do as a department head, but then it goes to the department heads to finish out the rest of it. So they're going to be being contacted soon by him. That way I don't get involved in it, because there's no sense of going through them to me, back to him. Just reach out
Have you
to
given them a heads up that
to
they'll
them.
extend?
I believe Chief Moore I did, because he was asking for, because of the grants and stuff like that. So yes, but the other people, I did reach out to the highway secretary the other day and talk to her about some things. I needed staffing numbers, so I talked to pretty much all the department heads for staffing numbers and stuff, with the exception of, they didn't ask about you guys. But, sorry, they didn't.
What's the estimated completion date for all this?
I could get that for you. It's all how fast everyone gets the stuff up to him so he could put it together. So, the stuff is held up. I mean, I'm looking into getting grants also. Kind of funny, Motorola, we were just talking about them. They just put out a $1.3 billion preparedness grant that I just started to look into. I just got the email the other day. But I'm sure a lot of this stuff and a lot of monies are tied to this, and I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. So how much is this costing and who's paying for it? How is it being paid for?
the EOP?
Yeah.
It was, I would have to get back to you on a cost, but it's already been paid for.
Okay.
It's already, I want to say it was, and don't quote me, but I think it was around $2,800.
I was gonna say $3,000.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it was something in that ballpark.
That came out of the emergency management
Yep.
money last year.
Perfect.
Anything else? Questions, comments? Just a little side note, as always, for the people out there listening on TV land, the more people have been coming in for burn permits, okay? No charge, come in, grab your burn permit, that's open. If we're there, someone will write it. And now that we have Brittany on board, her hours are gonna be from 8 to noon, Monday through Friday. So if you want to come in for a burn permit, she will be more than happy to get you a permit at no charge. Okay? That's it, that's all I got. And I'll check on that stuff and get back to you guys next week.
Okay. Thank you. Really
Okay.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good, thanks, Bert.
Thank you.
Morning, Clay. Good evening, Clay.
Hello. All right,
Library Director Clay Creasy.
I usually come with not enough copies, but today I brought too many copies.
That's okay.
So, but anyone in the audience can have it as well. Okay, does anyone in the audience want a copy too, or? Sure, okay. Sure. That's cool, okay. All right, my name is Clay Creasy. I'm the Ware Library Director, and I'm also joined by Josh Hilliard. He is the treasurer of the trustees. And I'm here to request for funding for our lawn and snow removal, lawn maintenance and snow removal. In the past, the town has paid for the snow. Okay, so as you can see from the chart, starting from, in the past, the town has paid for snow removal. That ended or else they did the snow removal. I'm not exactly sure how it was done, but it was done. That ended in 2022. And also in 2022, the town paid for all of the mowing, the weed whacking, spring and fall cleanups. They also paid for extra measures like, or you guys, I guess, the trimming bushes, I said seek, what does that mean? Seed, loaming, raking, and mulch. So that was an extra thing that the town took on in 2022. Last year, 2023, the library paid for $5,800 worth of, and this is for Stockhouse. These are bills that came from Stockhouse. We were able to have the funds, however, because we did have our highest paid position, other than myself, left halfway through the year, so we did have some extra funds to cover, especially when this extra stuff, which was mulching. Currently, you're paying for about 13 different properties, including the town hall and all the area around that, the Stone Memorial Building, the tennis courts, the tramp house, to the parking lot. So basically, you're paying for all the grounds around the library, but not for the library itself. I'm also asking that for next year that I be added for the regular care, and it's the spring and fall cleanup and maintenance for the contract that you have. And I'm not sure what the status is of the contract that you're working on with Stockhouse for.
We have an RFP that's being developed, and I did get some input that you wanted to put in here, so I appreciate the extra wording here. It
Okay.
hasn't been drafted yet, it hasn't been looked at by the board, it hasn't been sent out, but it's in queue to be done.
Okay, good. So that's good to know. So it's good to know that we're covered for the next year. And also, I would also like to ask that our snow removal be covered as well. So it's just because it is, the library grounds are the town property. So I feel like it's your responsibility, and it is a bit of a strain. In the past meetings, I've talked about how we're having more attendance at the library, people coming into the library, more circulation, we're having a lot more activity, and that requires more funds to cover the increased usage. However, we did propose for 2020, for this year, to have a $5,000 in our library budget to be used for the lawn and snow. However, as you know, that did not pass. And so that's why we don't have the funds for it for this year. And so I'm just asking that you and also the bill that you can see that's on the second page, that was given to us for Stockhouse for the whole year, for library grounds maintenance for the growing season, and it's $2,450. We have already paid for the April amount, which is $490, but I'm asking that you pay for the remaining $1,960 for, that would cover us for Stockhouse for the rest of the year.
And the information on snow, is that Stockhouse as well?
Right, that is as well, so.
Is that included in this 1960 balance?
No, that is not.
So if
So,
there's any snow through December, that would be.
it's usually not much.
Right.
Most of it is, yeah, I'm more concerned about 2025. So, you don't have to make a decision on that right now. It's just kind of going for, I would like to be considered for whatever contract you have for a stockhouse for snow removal as well.
I don't think we do.
Yeah, I didn't realize, no, I didn't think they did.
No, we've always had Tim shoveled this winter.
So that's what I was gonna ask, because part of when we hired Tim was, we talked about shoveling the buildings here and possibly the library.
Mhm.
So what did we, so is this 1150?
Is it what?
Sorry, but okay, two questions.
Yes.
In the chart you've got here, the 1150 for snow, but then you label this a stockhouse bill. So
Right, yes, that was the total amount of snow removal that we paid for stockhouse for last year. This year already we paid $1,075.
Yeah, I guess I was under the impression that we didn't pay stockhouse anything for snow removal, 'cause I didn't think they did that.
I mean, Tim gets it over to the town hall, he gets the stone building, he gets,
Yeah, and kind of echoing what I'm talking about there is we've got the bill that you're asking us about, where it says it's starting in April, ending in August.
Right.
So would you anticipate a separate bill?
It was, well, we paid for the April portion, so that's why I've subtracted it out. So, we paid for but what remains for the rest of the year is
It
$1,960.
doesn't include snow.
No, yeah, that's right, that's not in the invoice.
I mean, we've got-
They've
Yeah.
already paid it.
Right, yeah, we've already paid, yeah, again, there'll be some December, but,
January to March.
right, and if Tim agrees to do the snow removal for us, that'd be great. I mean, Stockhouse, they do a great job, I mean, they're always very dependable to get cleared off, like, as soon as the snow starts falling, but, I understand, but again, but if Tim's willing to do that without any, obviously it costs you some labor, because you're,
We've
but it,
gone over that way anyway for the stone building, so.
right, yeah, so then that'd be great, then we won't have to worry about
Yeah.
paying for the snow for next year, so.
Are you good?
Yeah, I guess, trying to reconcile that, it's like, okay, if we can get the snow to, it won't be zero, but lower, then that goes some of the way towards the 1960.
No.
But our,
Yeah, but the snow's not on that, in that, yeah.
The
It's not in
Snow
the
for 2024
invoice.
was $1,075.
Yeah, and we already paid that.
So the total,
Yeah.
the total
It's not
ask
included
right
in
now,
all right,
Mhm.
I'm thinking about this coming winter, but we're gonna pay
No.
that next year.
Yeah, if anything happens in
Yeah.
November, December regarding snow,
Yeah, we could cover it,
it wouldn't be there.
right.
It's not included.
Yeah.
Snow up to this point has already been paid for. I'm sorry.
so
I
so
talked
the
over you.
total, no, that's fine. The total ask right now is 1960, and that
Yes.
covers your maintenance through the summer.
Right, yeah, so that's why I'm asking, because it sounds like number 2 and 3 are taken care of. So, my request, it sounds like I'm going to be in the contract for next year, and that the snow removal will be taken care of by Tim. So really, it's just that, it's number 1 is what I'm looking for.
I guess I just wanna make sure ahead of next season. So, because I was under the impression that Tim was already doing it, but I guess he wasn't.
He must not have been, I mean,
Hmm.
he's on my list to talk about.
Okay.
A lot of times, us girls chipped in here because of a breakdown, It got chilled.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I would hate to commit to that and then find out we actually need to spend some money on it and then we don't have any money for it.
We can have a conversation with him for the fall.
Right, yeah,
Over now, we're not gonna get any
at
snow.
least you can wait.
I mean, he's already paid for the last snow removal of $1,075.
Okay, yeah, just something to just keep in mind.
It's only May, it could still snow.
No. We're over it.
So the big question is, we got a default budget, where do we find this money?
And the past, I can think in 2020, you took it from a building maintenance line. So I'm not sure what
Yeah, we didn't
funds
have
are in that.
anybody doing maintenance at that point, but we do now. So I don't think that's.
Okay, so there's not a,
What's that?
Building maintenance line.
We're all squeezing the nickels right now. We had to pay the $115,000 for insurance,
Right.
and you've got overtime at the fire department that's eating up at your bottom line.
Right. Okay. All right.
I mean, we're all in default mode.
yeah, and again, I'm in a similar situation because our budget wasn't approved, so.
Yeah. I don't, not suggesting that this is a library foundation issue, but is there anything that you're paying for out of other operating expenses that you might be able to get covered from the library foundation?
No, the intent of the library foundation was to pay for like more of a permanent thing, an expansion of building or services.
I know they bought
So-
some shelving and things in the past.
Yeah, not since I've been here, they haven't, so.
Well, I think we can either continue to talk about this or see if we can find anywhere that we might be able to get it, but I don't know that we can tell you tonight that we can fund this.
Okay, so you want me to come back next week and,
I think we need to talk to
update.
Beth, so it might be a little bit longer than next week.
okay. All right, so you just keep me informed then, keep me in the loop as to what the status is of it. Also, I mean, the bill for May is gonna come soon, so.
So what are the implications if you have to pay May, or even, like, what happens if you have to pay for the rest of the summer, knowing that town's gonna pick it up next year? Or, assuming that's the plan.
I'm just opting the most flexibility we have in our budget is for books. But like I said, with increased usage and circulation, I really don't want to do that, you know. That's you know, why most people come into the library, and so I might have to take it out of that fund. So I haven't, you know, and who knows what's going to happen as the year goes by as well, you know, so. Okay. Any other questions, or?
Well, I really appreciate you coming in.
Okay, yep, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right, I think that brings us to Sherry Burdick. Ms. Burdick contacted me last week and wanted to know if the town might be interested in a grant for roofing of the horse shed. If so, she's identified an opportunity, and I believe the application deadline is approaching, so I asked her here tonight to talk with the board about the opportunity.
Okay, Sherry Burdick, Green Center Road. This was actually requested last year with the other board, that I would do the grant work. But I felt where three of you are new on the board, that it would be nice to come back and speak to the new selectmen. So this is something that's gonna have to be done in the very near future, because the grant's gotta be in around the middle of June.
June?
Yeah, and the other issue is that we would have to send out a, you know, to different people or post it, whatever, to get quotes for the roofing of it.
And is
So-
that required before the application goes in?
And that's, the quotes have to go in with the application. So, I just put some stuff together as far as quotes are concerned. What would have to go on it. I mean, if you're gonna do it. If you're not gonna do it, then whatever.
Thank you.
And where it's historical, if I could do it under the Historical Society, but because we had talked about it, I just thought that, and I was, you know, I was asked to do it, I just felt that I better come back and ask the board. there's quite a lot of stuff to get together. There's photographs, these, you gotta have proof of ownership, which, would be a copy of the tax card, I guess, and then just letters from support, and then all the history of that has to be all put together. So, I think we'd want, if we're gonna go forward with it, we would have to, and the Historical Society, I can do it under the Historical Society, doesn't really matter. I still have to come back to you to get you to sign that, once I put the grant together.
So this is for the horse shed that goes, it's behind the old town hall?
Yep,
So is that a property that has been identified as having preservation value?
well, that whole area, that's been on the National Register, that's on a postage stamp, so that includes everything. I was told that, I questioned that again, that's on the National Register of Historic Places, so.
How old is the barn?
From what I've researched, around 1900. It's about 125 years old roughly.
And how many layers of shingles are on it right now?
Only one as far as I know, because what happened, I think it was around 2004 or 5, they stripped the roof and redid it. And that was about the same time that the Historical Society did the little tramp house.
Okay.
And the shingles all came from Country Three Corners, and they were, I think, GAF organic. And what the organic meant was there was 50% less tar in them. And so if you look at the shingles over there, it was supposed to last 50 years. They're all shot, and they're all like bubbled up, and they're lifted up a couple inches in some of them. So we'd have to get a good 50-year shingle on it.
Moose plate grant, or?
Yeah, moose plate,
Moose
yeah.
plate, okay.
So,
Does it have to be limited to the roof? Because we talked last year about some of the walls as well being,
well, if there's enough money in there, can add to replace any rotten boards up to the balance of that, but the total grant's for 20,000. So we can split it. The other issue is if we run over that, the Historical Society would probably kick the balance in. So hopefully we could get it all done, and then not have to worry about it for another 50 years.
So the grant is not just for roofing, but it's 20,000 for maintenance. of-
Right, but I think it's gonna be pushing that's a long roof. That's a long building. So I think it'll be pushing, I don't know for sure, but I'm just guessing about with what shingles cost and what they charge to labor. I'm guessing between 15 and 20,000 to do that. I mean, if there's 2,000 or 3,000 left over, then have it written up so identified, rotten boards, that have to be. I know there's a board there that the squirrels have got into it and eaten a hole through it, right underneath the roof line.
yeah, that'd be great if it could be written generic enough to do that. That'd be great.
Yeah,
Is there a match?
no match,
No match?
up to 20.
Okay.
So actually, if we're gonna, I said replace any damaged or rotten roof boards, but we could, if you're gonna put it out to bid, you could put any wall boards too, any boards on the outside exterior or something, Naomi. And, if it comes in at 23,000 and they give 20, the Historical Society would foot the rest of it. So,
It'd be nice to confirm that ahead of time, but if we knew at least like 20 would get the roof, okay, go for it, and then, work off the rest.
yeah, and the Historical Society is actually gonna be working on the tramp house, because they own that. We're gonna put a new roof on that this year. Over the summer months, that's gonna get done. And probably a coat of paint again.
Are there any conditions within the grant that would require us to do anything in the future?
No,
No strings at all?
nope.
And I believe, if I recall, last week you said when we chatted that you would actually write the grant.
Yeah, I'll put
Willing
it.
to do that?
Yeah, put it together.
And do you recall if there's an award timeframe? For the grant itself?
Yeah,
When they give you a response?
they'll give a response probably within about, I'm guessing roughly before when I've done it and got a grant, they've done it usually within about a month to 6 weeks, I've had a response from them. So if it's the middle of June, say, sometime toward the middle end of June, July, August, we should know something, I would think, in August. End of August, early September, which would mean we'd have to hopefully get right on it.
So what is the specific ask?
Just,
What,
well, I came here only because I was requested last year by the board, in the fall, I think it was. I mentioned that we could put in for a grant for the roof, and they agreed to, go forward and let me do it. But now that the board is completely, changed quite a lot, I just felt I should come back. You can just say yay or nay, but if it's yes, I can do it under the Historical Society and just come back and hand you all the paperwork to sign, because you still have to sign all the paperwork. It's a town building. So I'd have to have a signature from somebody here, on Janice or somebody.
So if the town went forward with this grant, you wrote it for the town, is there another opportunity to get additional things under the Historical Society?
Not with this grant.
Not with that grant?
No.
Okay. So it's
One,
either
it's,
or?
one for the year, right.
Okay.
Not saying next year if you wanted something
No,
else
I
looked
just
at.
was trying to
write
think if
another
there were a way to
grant,
get
another- for
additional
another-
funds, that's all.
Another
have
project.
entities put in?
Yeah. But-
For another project, because I wrote the grant that, for Clinton Grove, which was a town building, and we got a new roof put on that, here a few years ago, must be, 7, 8 years maybe. And I did a grant to have the building looked at by an architect to make sure everything was okay. That grant only paid half of that cost, and the Historical Society paid the other half, so there was nothing coming out of the town budget. And I know we're in a default budget, so there's no money anyway.
So I would propose that we move forward, but I think the motion would be, like, after you've got it already, like, we'll give you a thumbs up, go ahead and do it, and then you bring us the paperwork, and then we say, yes, make a motion to sign this at that point.
Yeah, I don't wanna put all the work into this, and then you decide you're not gonna sign it. It's, I've got a few hours of work just in doing the research before I even start putting it together, so photographs and measurements and, so,
Well, if Sherry goes through all the work, and we make a motion, would you be apt to say yes?
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
okay,
thank you.
yep, you're welcome.
I really appreciate it.
Where is this again? Where's the horse barn? Behind the?
Right behind the town hall, yeah. Yeah, and there's only a very few horse sheds left in the state, and there's only, I think, 6 tramp houses left in the whole state,
Wow.
so. Yeah, in fact, the state's very, very, they're very much behind this. I've talked to a couple of them over there. They really want to make sure the tramp house is being preserved in the horse shed.
We are not meeting on the 27th. It's a holiday.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't,
you know.
yeah, I won't be up. I'll just start working on it. It'll take me a couple weeks or so.
Okay.
Because I've got photographs and measurements, and then I'll have to go through and inspect for rotten boards and, as far as on the wall and,
Did you go for this grant last year?
no. No, I haven't done, no. No, I was asked to look into it, for this year and to put the grant together, but like I said, I felt I should come back to the board if you want. I mean, I can do it under the Historical Society. You guys gonna have to sign it. It doesn't matter how I do it. It still comes back to the board to approve it. So, all right,
Okay?
thank you.
Very much.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sherry.
Have a good night. Okay, I think that brings us to non-public minutes policy amendment. February of 2024, the prior board went through the first round of reviewing non-public minutes since that policy was put in place in October of 2023. Selectman Bloom took notes on opportunities for improvement and clarifications to wording, and this update reflects Salem's notes, so thank you, Selectman Bloom. The draft of the amendment was sent to the board on April 16th, so hopefully you've all had ample time to look at it.
Yeah, I guess in summary, it was, you know, we went through the process and we followed the letter of the policy that we had approved last year and realized some of this is pretty boilerplate, repetitive. We can condense things like where it says, you know, make a discrete motion for every single thing. Well, we're really looking for there is to make sure that each date is called out, so it's okay to condense that down to a single motion as long as each set of dates is called out within that motion. Things like that. And then, like, we had a process of how to, like, move the paperwork around the table while not losing, because they come in envelopes that are sealed. We want to make sure that, you know, it doesn't get all mixed up, so there's a little bit of process in how to manage that. Like that.
Yeah, so this isn't changing anything as far as the way minutes are taken, the way that minutes are stored, the way that they're unsealed, anything like that. It's just the mechanics of how to go through that process, streamlining it and making it clearer in the documentation.
Look at that a second. I don't have that in front of me.
Yeah.
So, because there was one, just to clarify, yeah, and so most of the language you'll see is new under a section called board review, which was, okay, we did a review and like write down what we did. And so there was a previous section called review, and that's now specifically individual review because, you know, any of us can go and look at minutes. So it calls that out, and then, okay, as we're reviewing as a board. And then, yep, specifically saying, as we've talked about before, we will always seal exit interviews and just putting that into writing. And, yeah, cleaning up some of the language there. And this was... Yeah, this is the one cleaning up how to take the motions with the votes. And then, yeah, cleaning up, because I've been through a couple of drafts of this to get to the one we approved, and I think some of this language was actually referring to the first draft, which we had edited, but didn't edit this paragraph to end up lining up with it, so. Sort of, okay, we have minutes that we need to make sure are good before they go out. And how to do that. So, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So, any questions, discussion?
Yeah, well, I got one change. Page 3.
Which page? They're all 2 of 4.
Oh, I'm sorry, I got the final one. So
Really,
under-
number 3?
Under board review,
Okay.
you have each review, seal minutes, blah, blah, blah. It will be the obligation of the chair, or I would say put his, her, or just put the chair as designee. But we just have his right now.
Chair or a designee. Okay.
And does that list actually reside on the website?
Don't think it does. That's a good point.
And what list are you referring to?
I'm sorry. On page 2, bottom of page, real page 2. Yeah, the list described in paragraph above shall be kept alongside public minutes, which I'm assuming that exists.
Yes.
Town clerk,
Yeah.
both as hard copies and on the town's website.
Yeah, like if you go to the box in the vault, it has basically a printout of a spreadsheet of dates and, you know, like which 91A subparagraph and like a summary reason, and then I think a couple of columns of like sealed, sealed, not sealed, whatever, and like date released. So that is the list. It's also kind of as a bookkeeping thing.
So that's gonna be uploaded?
Yeah.
The only two things I have.
And we haven't been doing that because why? We want to do it because why?
I think do it because we've kind of made an effort to say if we have information in paper, at least I've seen this over the last year and a half, as stuff is discovered, like it goes up on the website, like, oh, this is, we should have had this more freely available. So something like that, where it's a list of non-public minutes. I think that's in the Y column.
Are you saying there's no need? Or
No,
just
I
keep
just
a hard
want to
copy?
know if we're making a change, are we making it just to make it, or is there a reason? Is it- Further transparency is a great reason. And I'm not finding where you were referencing
Oh,
that.
I'm sorry, yeah, it's right there. It's just before the individual review. Yeah.
Thank you. So how far back do we want to add? Is this going forward, or are we going to retroactively put stuff on there? Because we have stuff for,
Well, that's just the list,
Years.
right?
Yeah, because do you have the spreadsheet, or?
Under my watch from 2009 forward, I have no
So
idea.
that would be a town clerk. I guess she, like, as you give her minutes, she edits it and prints another one, or, yeah, so we could ask the town clerk to do
Yeah,
that.
see, I cataloged the 09s that we did under my watch. I didn't touch anything prior to that.
Does she have access to write to the minutes webpage?
I don't know, I have to ask her.
Because if so, then like, as she edits it and prints it out, just, upload the new list. That
I know
shouldn't be
there's
too much
some
extra effort.
things on the front page, not everybody has access to.
yeah, I thought she could only access her
Her
page,
page.
Okay,
which wouldn't be our minutes.
yeah, okay. So then the process would be, she edits it like she does today, prints it out like she does today, and emails it to, your
And
Beth.
then we'd have to upload
Yeah.
them in a part. Yeah.
I don't know where it should live necessarily. Because right now, the minutes page is just a bunch
By
of
year.
dates. Yeah.
And this is more or less an Excel sheet with a list.
Okay. Just trying to think through, is the information available somewhere else other than on the Excel spreadsheet? In terms of, we had a
Not
non-public.
quickly.
Yeah.
We had a non-public on a specific date, that was in the agenda. When we write the minutes for that meeting, we show that there was a non-public.
Sure.
So is the list being posted buying us anything? I'm not opposed to posting the list,
Yeah.
don't think I'm trying to hide anything. I'm just trying to, is it there somewhere else without going to that step?
Would you just put it as an entry under the regular minutes, but just note it as being non-public?
We do that. We note that we had a non-public session, and whether or not the minutes
But not
were.
as a discrete set of minutes or anything.
Right.
Right. Well, right, so it's part of, a certain date, you go down and say, we had non-public, it's there. I'm just saying, if you have, could it be enough to just note it as its own entry, that they were
I
non-public?
think it gets updated so frequently. Because then you'd go to the minutes page and you'd see like minutes of date X, and then you'd immediately see like, sorry, I was thinking of posting the entire list, but you're saying just post.
Right.
But it's already in
It's in the
our
agenda,
minutes,
or-
in the agenda.
Yeah.
So I don't wanna make work for anybody either. And again,
What about, can you make an upload on the selectmen's page?
And just have like a
I
like
think,
a
we can call it
non-public minutes list.
Yeah, does the list just name, there was a meeting, the board that had the meeting, because other boards have non-public meetings, right?
Sure, yeah, yeah, other boards should be doing the same thing. So I guess we'd have it on our page, because you're showing our page.
Well, so you have this blue thing that we can upload, which has the holidays, operations policy complaint form, and then it goes down to junkyard, legal policy, non-public policy, policy on boards, committees, and commissions, which, and then purchasing. I'm just wondering, this is like to upload a file. Do you do it there versus type in the minutes? I'm just
I think
asking.
that's reasonable.
You're looking at the same thing?
If you're looking at
Yeah.
Yeah,
Could be,
it looks like.
could be on the town clerk's page, and could she upload anything to her
She
page?
can, she takes care of her page.
Right, so if she's keeping.
These aren't her minutes. She's just the keeper of the record.
Is this uploading the minutes or
The list
No,
of the minutes.
no.
I think they're looking at the list.
but if it's just the list, why can't she upload the list? 'Cause she holds the list anyway, right?
The only
If you were to
thing-
come and
the
ask.
only thing that bothers me about it is that the public minutes end up on one page, and then the list of the non-public minutes ends up on another page. Like, yeah, it'd be out there, but it's a little weird, but then we're talking about a different page anyway. It would be the easiest thing, because she's writing and printing it anyway.
Right.
We can try it.
If, you know, no one's gonna come to us to ask for it. They're gonna go to the town clerk.
That's true.
Well, they wouldn't be able to do that.
Unless they came with public comment.
We
mean
would
the
have
board
to-
as a group?
We would have to do that. A public person cannot go access.
Yeah.
Oh,
non-public
yeah,
minutes.
no, understand.
Yeah,
But the,
Well, they can go access the list.
right, but not the minutes themselves.
right,
Yeah,
But to his point, they would go to the town clerk for the list.
right.
yes.
So why not just have her upload it on her page?
Yeah, it's, that blue thing is upload file. So you just make a new blue and then you upload the file.
We could also put a note on our minutes page that the list of non-public minutes is located X
Yeah.
and put it in the blue section. That way, we're not having the town clerk do something for us.
Well, she would still have to, I thought you were
So-
saying the blue section of her
So what
page.
happens is after when I do them, I put them in the envelope and then I update my list and then take it downstairs.
Yeah.
That's how I do it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you have a list,
Cause that's how I cataloged the first place from 2009 forward. I don't have it here, but, so I have a list.
Yep.
And then when I add a new line for the minutes, if you seal them, I put the date, what you went in under, kind of a identifier. And then I have another column that says delivered to TC, so that I know when I dropped them off. That's my spreadsheet.
Does there have to be any type of reconciliation to make sure that her list matches Naomi's list?
I guess that would then be possible, because we'd have the town administrator's list on the website, town clerk's list in the
Right.
vault,
Right.
and then,
It
Yeah,
should
yeah,
fit 'em.
yeah, we just wanna make sure that match, right?
yeah.
That's
That
just
would
how
be-
I've been doing it, is when I add another line, I put the date, the RSA that you went in under, identifier, time in, is it restricted, and then when I delivered it downstairs. That's just mine.
Yeah, if you have that list, I'd say,
In each
Upload
bottom
that.
tab, I have 2009, 10, 11, 12, all the way through. So I've started 24s.
do you have any info in there? So I guess, is it updated for all the unsealing we did a few months ago?
I think I did.
Yeah, because, you know, if we're doing the list, we
Yeah,
make sure it's
Yeah,
correct.
that's a good point, because they're not all sealed anymore.
Right.
no, there wasn't there, you're right. I double check, I think I did, but I'll look. Amazing.
I like the sound of that. And if it ends up being a pain, then we can change it again.
Right, so
So
Naomi
load back
will,
through 2009?
That's all that I have.
And you said it's just one file, bunch of tabs.
So, yeah, it's an Excel file, so I'd have to somehow you don't want someone altering it.
Well, you can print it to a PDF.
Yeah, I can, but a year at a time, or what do you want to do? Because I know the trustees, we do it with PDF on the trustees, and the trustees, I save the actual file for January to December, but then each time I save January, February, March, it does just the sheet for that month.
Yes, the question would be, if you upload the file, then somebody could download it, they can open it in Excel, and they can choose whether they want to edit it or not. They're not editing the
I'm
real
sure
file.
they can edit anything.
Right, they're not editing the real file, they're just editing their copy of it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And it
but
wouldn't-
I
and it
think the
wouldn't
best
match.
practice would be not to actually put an Excel file or a Word file. We need, a PDF would be what we'd want to put out there.
If you're uploading a file, I believe they only let you do PDF, that's website security.
But,
What do we have for
Open it
PDF?
in
Do we have the full
Excel,
PDF?
print it as a PDF.
Or do we just have a?
You do each
I
tab.
know, but I always had to convert it before I could upload it, it had to be a PDF, because when you go to click on the file, it will throw you out and say it needs to be a PDF. But I'm happy to try whatever you want.
So we don't have a sheet of Adobe or anything? You're just printing out
I-
you
I
have a
s-
PDF printer?
Yeah, well, no, I save it
as a
as a
PDF type.
PDF. I do have the Adobe, was it Pro? Because I can,
So,
that's how I put your seal, because I didn't have the one that I sent you guys out today, I put the seal on it.
I was saying, it sounded like you were concerned about putting the list out,
Oh.
because you do a new page, and.
I'm just doing
that-
it, I was gonna do it a year at a time, like here's the 2009s, here's the 10s, here's the 11s.
Okay, so you're just gonna do one.
I was just gonna do the whole year at once, because it's all on one sheet.
I was gonna say, if you were doing, interim printouts, you could always
And then
just
you
combine
could
it.
always
Yeah, and then.
pull up the
let's-
24, and then what you do with their file is you remove the 24 and you put a new one up.
Right.
As you add to it. But the old ones, I wouldn't, if you, for what we went through, we would put up what we had, because you did unseal some.
Yeah, and if we went back to 2009 and
You
unsealed
just have
something, we
to, if
take
you
that
alter
down,
that
put a new one
spreadsheet, you
up.
just put up the amended one.
Okay.
I can try it on that section, see what it looks like. And then you wanted to add a note to the page, that's where they are?
If we can. That way it would
Where-
cross-reference.
Where are we putting them now? It was Board of Selectmen, then it was
All right,
Yeah.
town clerk,
Is
went back to
it
Board of
hers or
Selectmen.
mine? Because she has her page, I have.
yours, because that's where our minutes are, and it's
Yeah.
your list, you can
Then-
edit that.
Then we need the policy if it's there.
The only other thing I would ask Naomi when you're putting it together this first time, if you could just go through the last year, all the previous years, make sure there's nothing at all that may need to be redacted, like personal info or anything. Just because it's your list, it has never been shared before,
Okay, I'll look at that, I don't
Yeah.
think there's anything
Yeah.
there.
the sealed
We
minutes
can try it.
concerning so-and-so.
Yeah.
What I can do is send you an email when I do it, and you guys can look at it, we can see if we need to
Yeah.
work it.
Okay. Anything else you got?
No.
No? Okay. The only thing I saw was on the minutes taking, it says that the emails shall be sent from the minute taker by way of a blind carbon copy to the board members' individual town-issued email addresses with the draft minutes attached. The other way is to actually get a handout of them,
Get a what?
a handout, like these, you brought them. We
The
didn't,
only,
we didn't send
the
them
only
by
question
email.
I asked was, is blind copy, is that discoverable? I don't know.
I assume it might
Because
be.
if it's sent from me to you, is it discoverable? I mean, I can make you a copy, trust me, but I'm just saying, is it discoverable? I don't know, I'm asking.
I'm
think
gonna
so.
assume yes, because it's gonna be.
Right.
'cause
So if
that
I'm
was-
sending you draft minutes that you want sealed, that's the only drawback I think about.
But we are, I'd have to, because there's that carve out in 91A for draft something or other. This always takes me longer than I think it will.
That's the only concern I have, because it would be generated from me to you. So is it discoverable when they say to and from or whatever? Excuse me.
Yeah, okay, exemptions. Okay, so preliminary drafts, notes, and memoranda and other documents not in their final form and not disclosed, circulated, or available to a quorum or majority of the members of a public body. But I guess.
They would be.
Yeah, they would be at the point of circulating, so, yeah. Okay.
So I'm thinking we take out that last sentence, an email shall be sent.
Okay.
This one.
Okay. Yep.
Or maybe it's two sentences, the last two of that paragraph.
That was on page 2.
Page 1.
Paragraph 2?
Minute taking is only one paragraph, and it would be striking the last two sentences that were added in the draft. Okay. I think it still makes sense.
So it ends at a draft of the minutes with the board.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, so we made that change on page 1 to the minute taking. We made a change on page 3 under board review. One, two, three, four. The fifth set, each review of sealed minutes, the second line, chair or chair's designee. So change his to chair's designee. Anything else?
And then we're gonna correct the board members.
Yeah, and while you're in there, if you could go into the footer and take out the page 2 of 4 on every page,
Mm-hmm.
please.
And then do you want amended? It says adopted, so now you have an amended.
Amended, yeah,
Like, yeah.
okay.
And then April is now gonna be May.
May. Okay. So, do we want to handle all this tonight, or do you want to see it again?
I think see it again, but assume it's correct and have one like ready to sign.
Okay.
So bring the hard copy, I'll send it to you and bring the hard copy for next week. That work?
That's what I like.
Yes, please.
And I left the meeting early a week or two ago, a couple of weeks ago. Did y'all sign the board member one?
No,
No, because we added that.
no, we didn't sign it, but it has
You had
been
that to
posted.
sign?
It's on my-
Is that the
Because you had emailed
policy
it
on-
out, yeah.
Policy, yeah, because
We-
it wasn't a signature on the first one,
But the first one is from years ago, right?
2012,
Yeah.
they adopted it.
Yeah, so I think we should sign it.
You want me to pull it back and put a signature line on it?
Yeah.
That's the policy on boards, committees, commissions, where we
Yep.
took out C3?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
We're still going. Okay. Anything else on that one? Okay. That brings us to manifests. Has everyone signed?
We have enough signatures?
Everything else I have to read.
Everything signed up there?
Everybody signed in black?
I didn't sign anything in an orange folder. So,
I'm gonna double check that one.
Yeah, those might have 3 on them.
If I combine all three, maybe it'll turn black.
Is that why you didn't sign, because you don't have black?
Just the orange one. Well, if he's making
Yeah,
three, that's
okay,
fine, but if
okay.
not, I will sign. I need to set a reminder. Yeah.
So I'd like to motion to order the treasurer to sign the payroll and accounts payables checks dated May 16th, 2024, as included in the following manifests. Payroll manifest, $76,437.36. Accounts payable manifest, $124,801.68. Where school, accounts payable manifest, $300,000. And John Stark accounts payable manifest, $550,000, for a total of $1,051,239.04. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Town's not much of that.
No? Not much at all. All those in favor say yes or aye.
Yes.
Yes.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? Motion passes unanimously 4-0-0. Okay. Do you need this back?
No, she gives me one too. so-
Okay. Yeah. I didn't write on it this time, so you could have had it.
It's okay.
I'm proud of myself
I did.
for nothing. Okay. Minutes from April 29th.
That's the meeting I left partway through, and they were correct up to the point I left.
Okay.
So I will end up abstaining, but that part looked
Okay.
fine.
You ready?
It will be.
Line 28, discussion. It was actually an interview, so I don't know if we need to be that specific.
Interviews were had.
Yeah. An interview was one. In line 56, by the end of the year will be billed, but there will be money not used.
Build.
Billed, okay. I couldn't remember, and I didn't go back and look. Billed, thank you.
Did you say build or we built up? I kind of took it that total money of, it was total money vacant positions. But I think he was trying to say it would be built up, and
Built.
then he kind of went,
Built, you think it's built?
I believe that's what he said. I listened to it a couple times.
Okay.
He kind of coughed as he was saying it.
So dilled changes to
Built.
built. Okay. And then, after line 97, can you note that Selectman Bloom left the meeting?
After what line?
Oh, it's on the next
Yeah,
page, I'm
yeah.
sorry, I didn't see that. Never mind. 104, motion made by Chair Matthews to sign the lease agreement with the changes to property liability amounts. And the section on 140 cemetery deeds, I don't know if you need to note that we actually did sign those.
Are you asking to take that out?
No. Do you need to note that we actually did sign them?
I got them back from the registry recorded.
Okay, all right. In the 150 to 159, there was an action to send out the prior training package, since we can't get the training done till July-ish.
Hang on, what page you on? Oh.
Page 4.
Okay.
And this has to do with the,
And you guys got that, right? I sent that to you.
yeah. And 168, I didn't pass out the research, I passed out an example of the background that I've been doing, and I know she couldn't see it, so, and it was for a board preview, not review.
Hang on. Oh, passed out.
Passed around an example of the background research for the board to preview. Not review, preview. That's all I have.
I'd get on line 161. I got Selectman Pratt said he had to reach out to Ray Banks, told him that it was completed regarding the gravel pit, but that was the ditches at the cemetery that they were filled in.
The ditches on Buzzell Hill,
Yes.
so it's not the gravel pit.
No.
Okay.
And, yeah, Mr. White was here again. That was Mr. Smith.
We joked about
Sorry
that.
about that. Yeah, I had on that line 56. I'm sorry, I had it down a little further. So I had, by the end of the year, will be built. But still you've accumulated since March. I believe that's how it should read.
Anything else?
That was all I had.
Okay. I'll motion to accept the minutes of April 29th, 2024 as amended this evening. Is there a second?
Second?
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes or yay? Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? Okay. Passes 3-0-1. Selectman Bloom abstained. Okay.
Before I forget, there's the one appointment that Dave did earlier, sorry. Okay, so we did those, the ethics questions, we'll move on to the attorney. I don't know that you're ready to finalize reviews, because there's really two of you that, okay?
No, we can't sign them because Benji's not here.
Right, and then non-public we're gonna do, I do have packets for you of the, building
Applications.
inspection applications that we can go over later,
Okay.
Sherry. I mailed you the itemized for March and April for Mitchell, I believe this looks like something like that, you guys should have got today. Spreadsheet.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
And I also sent you the building permits. And then on May 9th, Selectman Pratt and Chair Matthews attended the virtual meeting with DES. Wasn't very long, they kind of gave an update. I haven't seen Jason or asked as to which way we want to go, but I think that's a discussion. You know, we talked about the PBN versus the standard. I think that's a decision that sounded like PBN wouldn't take a whole lot for us to become compliant. But that's a decision I think the board has to do.
Yeah, so obviously he needs to provide us with the recommendation.
Yep.
And I believe he's well aware of that, and I just don't know how long he needs to prepare that, though, so. And I would want to know, kind of a timeline on when he would put together the application and when he might think he'd be ready to submit that kind of information when he comes to see us.
It sounded like the PBN just took a little bit of tidying up, plus the USGS map, and then it was,
Yeah, I'd also want to know the operating plan and the closure plan. We don't have to submit those, but we have to have them. So do those require updating?
I honestly
Or
hadn't,
generation.
I haven't seen one, but I'm thinking he's got them in his files down there because we have to do an update every year.
So those would be the kind of questions I would have for him.
And then I just have some other things for next week. Looks fairly busy, but, interview 3, I'm thinking we narrow down to 3. There's 8 of them here. And then the library trustee alternate, we have a request from them. The only thing I did, sent back to the chair of the trustees was that, because we'd already posted the agenda, but in all the years past, I don't think we've ever introduced that person. We've worked on the letter, because it's an alternate to a trustee. I mean, do you want Kate to come in, or you just want action taken? We've always just accepted the letter from the behalf of the trustees, because as you know, they have a vacancy as well,
Yeah.
because they're elected officials as well.
So as far as process goes, we're just appointing somebody until the next election, or,
For the one spot,
one
and then
seat.
the alternate just
Right.
fills in so they can make a quorum.
right,
But we have a letter
Right.
from Mark asking to appoint Kate.
right.
My question to you was, I could put it on whether it be action, do you want her here, is what I'm asking. Yes, to put it on, but.
No, I understand the question.
Okay. All right, sorry.
Yes, I understand the question. So as a process, do we want to interview an alternate, or do we want to just accept what the library trustees has recommended?
The alternate's a year at a time.
Well, I mean, we interviewed an alternate today,
Right, but
But
see,
they're-
these
these
are
are elected
appointments, those are
positions.
elected.
but we are appointing, the RSA, we appoint for that as well.
You do.
Yeah.
My question to you is, you've never seen the alternates. I'm just saying, do you want to bring them in, or you just want it on your list as action? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's weird, not weird, like,
Talk about process, we're not talking about people.
Yeah.
no, I know, but, like, I don't want it to have any kind of appearance either.
Right. That's why we're talking about process.
Yeah, sure, but not in a vacuum either.
No, but whatever we do today, we'll do if there's another opening as well. So as
Sure.
far as the path.
I think it's worth interviewing, regardless,
Okay.
anybody.
Thoughts?
So for the trustee boards, that'd be the same as any other board, the way that we're gonna handle that, though? Is that true, false?
The trustees are
appointments.
elected,
Right.
and they have a resignation, so their permanent fill-in for the resignation goes until the next election, but we have to make that appointment.
Okay.
But they've recommended that. They oversee all that. We don't,
Yep.
and the same thing for the alternate. The alternate's 1 year at a time, but that would go again until the backfilling for the alternate that they're moving into a permanent spot. So
Okay.
that would be till March.
Yeah, so I guess that's where my question is then. So they're elected for whatever the term, but the appointed positions, we treat the same as our boarding policy for,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a good question. Like, do we need to, because it's kind of a weird case, because there aren't any others like that? Just a library trustee?
Trustees of Trust Fund has an alternate.
Okay, that's
And
appointed.
we
And the
appointed.
same, and
Yeah.
they're
We appointed
elected.
them.
So are
And-
they
And you
covered?
appointed them.
I mean, if it's not spelled out, we could add 2 or 3 words to the policy.
but it is appointees right, as well. Do I have it? I had it here. Here it is. Yeah. Policy on boards, committees, and commissions, yeah. Should be something appointees,
Yeah.
I guess, as well. I don't know. I'm just saying, do we treat it the same? It sounds like we should.
I think so.
James?
I'm for consistency.
Okay. So I think, yes, we want to see.
Okay. The transportation survey results are in.
Sorry, going back though, because would that be both people?
What?
Because this only lists the one alternate appointment, but there's the other appointment. Would that be the same day?
Did, I mean.
Because they asked us to do
Right.
two.
They asked you to do two. I can have them both come, that's fine.
Yeah. I just don't want them to get lost before we start taking every other week off.
Okay. No problem. Southern Hampshire Planning, we have finished, I say we, I was, set in, the transportation survey results are out, and, they're gonna send them to me, I'll send them to you, but they would like to just come present what their findings were. They've asked to come on the 20th. The Snowmobile Club, is trying to get a grant. One of the Class 6 roads that they use in the winter requires, some work. They're willing to put in for grant money for that work, but Class 6 is owned by the town, so you'd have to give permission. And that grant application is due the beginning of June, second week in June, I think, similar to what Sherry is. So they're willing to do the work, but you guys own the roadway, so.
Is that the same road we talked to?
It's
a
over by
representative
the
last year?
Goffstown Fishing Game Club.
I think that's the same one. I just remember ending that discussion last year with, hey, you know, we acknowledge you're an interested party, but there may be others, you know, folks who live on or near that road, whatever,
Mhm.
whatever. Let's,
Yeah, I
do we
know they
need
were
need
here.
to have like a public hearing to say, before this road gets modified, who else has some kind of stake in it? And then you're saying there's a tight deadline.
Yeah, I don't know that that's the same road.
Okay, well, same idea
That
though.
got worked on.
Oh,
That part of the trail system didn't get worked on.
Oh, it
'cause I don't
didn't
think-
get worked
I
on.
didn't think funding, I don't think funding ended up being available.
Yeah. We do have a series of public hearings scheduled already for June 3rd. We could, if we noticed it tonight, could do that, but that's the earliest. And that would require it going tonight, which it's already 9:15, so.
It's-
no, we have another week.
No, 27th is holiday.
Right, but we don't need to post.
We're 2 weeks in advance, we'd need to post it by the 20th,
Yeah,
not tonight,
yeah.
okay? Public math.
So, you're saying the 20th can't happen for the Class 6 road?
I mean, like, my opinion is, like, we could talk to the representative, but I would prefer to open it up to, hey, does anybody else have an interest in this road before something happens to it? And maybe nobody shows up and off we go, but if somebody says, hey, I'd really like to leave it alone for whatever reason, it'd be good to.
I think you're talking, I'm not gonna, it's a couple of landowners, one big one, so.
Okay. Well,
Could be a quick hearing then.
yeah.
At least we
They-
gave people the
well,
opportunity to
They have
give
to get landowner
input.
permission signed by all parties anytime you do any grant aid, so. But you can listen to them, I mean,
Yeah.
if you want to.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
they need approval from the,
well, they need to upgrade the Class 6 road, which would put gravel in and culverts if they have to make it more passable for them too.
Yeah.
And they're willing to put in for the grant to upgrade the Class 6 road, but they need, you guys own it.
but they also need approval from the landowners near it.
The landowner that the rest of, so when the Class 6 road comes out and then you go off the Class 6 road to a private, they need that person too.
And without it, they can't get the grant,
No.
is what you're saying.
This, the IT issue, Janice, Beth and I met, where I'm expecting that answer by the 20th, and I'm gonna send a reminder, because I believe that's kind of where we targeted for a date.
Yeah, we really didn't nail him down for a date, but he said it would be a few weeks, but definitely by the end of the month, so if he doesn't give it to you this week,
Okay. I know we talked
I don't
about
think
a few
he's
weeks.
delinquent.
No, and then so Dave can help out here. They did open the asbestos bids for the Barden property, and there was an apparent low bidder. There's some due diligence that we have to do. And then I'm expecting, I think it was Mike.
Yep, Mike.
Mike will be coming back for the board's nod on that, provided all the due diligence is done with that. Is that correct?
That is correct.
With some insurance papers and some other things.
So they'll be ready next week.
I haven't heard, I'll double
Okay.
check with him to make sure, but that, we'd like to get moving with that. It's been a while, and then there's a certain amount of days. And then we go down to below items, you did see, as Janice mentioned, and I will send you guys all the RSAs and the public information for the discretionary preservation easement. That's for the old barn. And then there's the speed limit one, has already been scheduled as well.
Before you move off the discretionary preservation,
Sure.
I understand that there's an RSA that does that.
Yep, 79D.
But is somebody gonna be able to tell us, maybe that's you or Beth,
I have a letter from Avatar.
what the impact would be to taxes?
Yeah, I have an Avatar.
From our
Yeah,
revenue
they said
standpoint?
if you issue, we've only got one other one on the books right now. And the one other one they issued was 75% of a reduction of the barn value, I believe.
So just of the building?
Yeah,
not
so
the
what I'm gonna
property.
do is send you the RSA, I'll send you what Avatar did, I'll send you what Avatar sent me back. And
Okay.
you'll have a package. I didn't wanna confuse it for this week, cause.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure we'd be able to understand,
Yes.
if we did this, there's an impact to revenue, and we understand what that,
Yes,
what that is.
yes.
Okay,
Yeah, that's, Avatar spelled it out for you.
thank you.
I sent out the H2O complaint, but I get it bounced back, and I've asked for a new email, and I have not gotten a new email address. I called, because I had the old email address for the company, and it came back undeliverable.
Can we send a
Hard copy,
certified letter
yeah,
or something?
because I redacted the information, hit the send, and then it took a while, and then came back later. I did the RFP for legal services, I put that out to bid. I wanted to give people enough time because we're running into a holiday. I also put it on, I think we put it in 2 different places on the website. It's in the bid section, it's also on the front page. It's also on the NHMA, waiting to be approved by them on the classifieds. We talked about the permit. East Road, I think I sent you guys the information that she came back with on the East Road one.
Mhm.
There was an information that Laura had given us as to what we could do.
Yeah, was there an email that preceded that or a phone call or something? Because it looked, she answered a question.
Well,
I think that was our list of questions. But I do think, if we don't next week, but the week after, we need to have a non-public to discuss her response.
next, 5:20, question mark. Ware Energy Committee, you heard from him tonight.
Yeah, so that's kind of a 3-step process. We're gonna have to
Yes.
authorize the committee,
Mm-hmm,
then post it for volunteers,
Right.
and then appoint
correct,
after that. So,
correct.
basically, to appoint the committee, or to authorize the committee, all we have to do is say we wanna create one.
Yeah, because
So,
that was left in you, because we had to determine whether we had to go to town meeting or not.
right, we don't. We had that answered,
Correct.
I don't know how many months ago, but it was with the prior board. So, that's a quick thing if we're all in agreement that we wanna do it, so we could do that next week as well if you want.
Sure.
Okay.
Next week, 5:20. Process we'll do after we hire someone. Janice has sent that list. I haven't done anything more with consent agenda discussion. I don't think I've changed Anything more? I did have a kind of a neat phone call today. Someone that's gonna stop and see me Thursday may be interested in the sexton position.
Really?
Mm. He's gonna come see
Awesome.
me, come see me on Thursday, which will be exciting. I will take Jason's thunder. We got a letter from DOT and Friday afternoon, and we're ready to move to the next phase, so,
Very good.
yeah.
That is huge. Yeah, and just for people listening at home, we're talking about the River Road Bridge
Just the bridge
progress.
replacement.
Yep.
Right, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of exciting. There's nothing more that I've added, to be honest with you.
Can we add the interim chief to this list? Interim chief updates,
The intern, yep,
please.
sure.
What is, what's the schedule, when do we need to start probing graves?
When I get a call?
Okay.
Like
Okay, I
we
thought we had a
had-
few queued up for,
Say that again?
I thought we had a few ready to go.
Yeah, I do have one for next week,
Okay,
and it's full burial, so
okay.
I just gotta find the location of the,
So
lot.
by what day do we need to have that done?
The service is gonna be the 23rd at 11 a.m. Not this week, next week.
Yep. Yeah, like I could do,
Because I got a call today, she doesn't have any more, because I said, do you have any more? I'm trying to figure it out, because we had a lot of people pass away. She said not for where, and I was cheerleading by myself.
like I can run out some afternoon this week or anytime Sunday would be fine. Like if others wanted to go and learn and take a little bit of time to do it.
I definitely need training. I've never done anything remotely close to that.
I would propose Sunday afternoon. Call it like
You want me to bring the map
2
and,
p.m.? Okay.
Can you do Sunday? Do you need to go?
Yeah, usually you're back here, a phone call away, like,
Okay,
let's take
well-
another picture.
Okay, then,
I mean, it doesn't matter, right? Last time I brought, because we couldn't find the prior one, I had to call the family, and they came down and helped us out when you and Ricky and I
Yeah.
were there on Sunday.
That's true.
I can do Sunday, but what time are you thinking?
2 o'clock,
Yeah.
unless Sunday at 2 o'clock. As of yesterday, I've got a standing appointment at Ilse's.
Yeah, it's in, it's in the,
That's when they open.
it's in the Johnson, it's in the Johnson Cemetery. So, which is, take, east, take a left onto Buzzell, and it's on the right-hand side.
But I think we'd have to post it, because it'd be at least 3, if not.
Don't know if I'll be able to make that.
Is there a better time?
I just don't know right now.
I mean, if the three of you are gonna go anyway, I can post
Yeah.
it.
Is it still by this back door?
Yep.
Okay.
I just gotta put some more flags out there.
Okay.
Cause I bought red flags and blue flags. Red flags are for the graves, blue flags are gonna be for the corner markers when they're ready to do those.
Okay.
It's just easier for them to understand it versus, say, 2 p.m. Terry, okay, I can post that. I tried, but there's only the one.
We'll do it again.
And then if you have the sexton, I believe that's,
Yeah, it could be,
I'll find out Thursday, it'd be kind of cool.
or, yeah, if that person wants to come out Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell
This
him,
would be a
because
public meeting.
we spent a while on the phone today, and he said he could come see me Thursday.
Yeah.
I explained what would be expected of him. You know, meeting and selling lots as well as being there So, I think it'll work well. I know who he is, so. There are some corner markers we'll have to mark for when they're done, but they usually like to bring them. You went out, you left the white, they're white now, the flags,
Okay.
when you did.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. Okay, Jeff, do you mind sending an email with what you said, what color's what flag now?
Yeah,
And you said you're gonna leave them
I'll leave them at the back door along with
with the,
I was gonna have Tim sharpen that thing, because that was pretty dull.
yeah, yep.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I guess the map too, like you said.
Yeah. That's all I had, James.
Okay. Any questions that we haven't gotten to for Naomi? Okay. I think that brings us to correspondence. We've talked about library trustee Mr. Mark Carey's correspondence already. And there was correspondence on some property at All Seasons. So is there any action for us at this time?
No, I gotta figure out how much exactly is outstanding.
Did we take that? We didn't take that
18.
this year?
We took an 18.
I was gonna say, I don't remember that being.
No.
on there.
No, 18.
But that's not finalized anyway, all that.
Before we get too far down, are you gonna make a motion to hire the kids that you?
Yep.
Okay, sorry.
Next. Any other correspondence that went to anybody that didn't go to the whole board? Okay. All the way down there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Other business, I guess. So at the conservation, I know I usually have a little rundown, but I didn't get to prepare that this week, but they did, I did bring up the town forester, permit, or the RFP again. And they would like to get a work session, with us.
Yeah, I believe that's what we agreed to, so it's not a problem.
They just want to
Yep.
set a date, and they asked that I request that, so.
Naomi can figure out when they think they might be ready and get a date that works for us around whenever they're gonna be ready. I know they wanna have a, before they get too far into it, so, but I don't know when that is for them.
Okay.
Do you want me to email Andy and ask, or, I mean, how do you wanna do that?
Yeah,
A work
okay.
session would have to be an off night for both parties. Just because, look at, you have enough to do, they have a lot to do at their meeting, it was late that night too.
Mhm.
And just stay focused on the one issue.
Yeah, could you reach out?
I could throw out some, I could reach out to Andy and throw out some suggestions.
Okay, good.
That's it.
Okay. We did have a non-public session at the start tonight to conduct 2 interviews for Chase Park for 2024 summer employees. I will entertain a motion to hire Isabella Pelletier and Eva
Brilliant.
Grulian, thank you. I mispronounced too many things tonight. Eva Grulian, per the starting wages that are on the interview sheet. And they are both for the positions of assistant supervisors. And the start date, I believe, is May 18th.
Yes.
So moved?
Anyone second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor say yes or yay?
Yes.
Yes.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? Motion passes to hire both of those assistant supervisors. Okay. We also had somebody come up, as you guys know, about the forest field trip. Do we want to chat about that?
Yes. Gotta rewind a bit, though.
You wanted to ask about the, CC if there's any other issues, and then the contact town attorney about either legal or a waiver?
Yeah, they gave us the information
Insurance.
on insurance, so I assume that that's going to be plenty, since they've already, gotten sign-ups and permission slips and all that from the.
I'm guessing this parents would have signed kids up from school.
Yeah.
We always had to sign slips.
Yeah. So do we need anything else, is the question for legal.
And I would go so far as to say that I would propose that we approve that if legal's okay with it. So that then we can, if we do that right now and give it that caveat, then legal would come back, Naomi would be able to tell them, yep, the board and legal are okay with it, go for it. And that I am, you said that conservation was
Yeah.
worried about the timing. If there's anything that,
They were worried about the timing, they were worried about being charged for the time that they were in there, but they answered that question. We won't be charged, and there was talk about liability, and those were the three main.
yeah, and I think those are addressed, again, try not to take this board and undercut any concerns they may have had, I think. We're okay.
The gate will be open to the property, right? So
Yeah.
it's just going to be, the transfer station part of it's going to be closed off.
And I would just make sure that if we do agree to this, that Jason's aware there's going to be a bus coming through there. I get the impression the bus is going to be coming through twice, right?
Yeah, it's gonna go down and around, kinda up where we park.
Right, but there are two different groups coming in and out,
Correct. They're gonna swap.
coming in and coming out.
And maybe to that end, should we also ask Jason, is there any reason not to do this? If he says, oh, heck, on
Yeah,
that
we
Thursday,
have-
I've got something like
Yeah, we have something
trucks,
That would
scheduled.
be
you know,
fair. Yeah.
so same thing, so pending approval from town council and the DPW director, I'd suggest we give it a thumbs up.
Yep.
Okay.
Was that a motion?
Sure, I'll move, yeah. I'll move that we approve the New Hampshire Timberlands Association to provide a forestry tour. What's that land called?
The Fells Farm
Thank you.
Forest?
Yes, like, I should know this, we talked about it probably last year. To host a forestry tour on Felch Farm pending approval from town council and the DPW director.
I would just modify that to say that the verification from town council that the liability insurance that we received is adequate.
That's better.
You okay with that amendment?
Yes.
Okay. Anyone want to second that?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say yes or aye.
Yes.
Yes. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? Okay, so Naomi, you have the action to verify with legal, verify with Jason, and if those two things come back a go, tell the folks that were here tonight that, or gentleman that was here tonight, that
Jason?
we're good to go. And we probably ought to let Conservation Commission know what we've done.
Yeah, he was on that list. I put conservation, legal, and Jason.
Okay. All right. What else do you have? Anything? Anyone?
Lydia? What do you want to do for the, oh, sorry. I was looking at the 20th.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
just thinking if there's any other business before we go on to the agenda. Anything? All right. Okay, so what do we have on the tentative for the 20th?
So, you potentially have one park and rec app left, and you have a fire admin, and I'm gonna be hopeful that you're gonna have 3 building candidates. So that if you start at 6:30, I didn't know how long you were gonna allot for that.
So can you clarify on the fire admin that that person was on leave and is just returning from leave but into a different position? Is that- is
She
that-
was, you want me to verify?
No,
that?
did I understand it
Yes.
correctly is what I'm
Yeah,
asking?
she left the department and now she's coming back.
Okay, so she separated
Yes.
and now she's being rehired?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
And then you have 1 park and rec and then 3. I'm guessing 3, but I'll let you.
Mhm.
And then public comment, and then I wanna see if we can get Jason to decide on the transfer station permit. I gotta keep that moving. And then I had established Ware Energy Committee. That would just be make a motion, basically. And then I have 2 library trustees appointments. Southern Hampshire Planning, Transportation Results, the Ware Winter Wanderers, request to upgrade classics. Possibly asbestos, I just have to verify. If I did, I'd put that up under Department Head Committee items, because that would be conservation for the asbestos award.
Okay.
I have to just touch base. And then you'd have manifest minutes, administrative report, correspondence, other business. Let's see, 5:20. And then you could have a non-public at the end of 5:20 for East Road.
Yeah.
That sound like enough?
More than?
I just
Anything-
don't know how long at the beginning you wanna use.
Do you mind running through that again? Just that beginning block? How many was it?
So I have 1 park and rec.
Yep.
I have 1 rehire, fire admin.
Yep.
And then I'm hoping we'll talk with 3 building inspector, code enforcement.
I'd call it an hour 15.
An hour 15?
I would say 5 for the Parks and Rec.
Yep.
Shoot, I already lost it. It was
20
10
minutes apiece.
And then it was 10 minutes,
And then,
and then 20 minutes for each,
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
yeah.
And 10 minutes to wrap up.
What should have come out to an hour 15? 5 plus 10 plus 60.
I got an hour and 20.
We always go long. Say an hour 20.
So 7:45 is when you go public? That's what you're thinking?
Yeah.
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 Looks like a full night.
Yeah, again. Okay, anything else? All Okay, well, it is 9:42, and I would like to make a motion to enter a non-public session under RSA 91A3, Roman numeral 2C, for two topics. The first is to review the non-public minutes dated 3/26 and the 4/22. Second topic is review applications for building inspector, code enforcement officer, hopefully down selection for future interviews. Is there a second?
I'm gonna do it again, but I thought reviewing minutes was a different, I thought it was M. No, not M. I thought it was a different letter. We put it in policy, right?
Yeah, I took it from the agenda. I didn't verify the number.
Which is what I put on there.
Oh, M is consider whether to disclose minutes, but we're not strictly doing that. What letter were the minutes put under?
You also have to sign the tax warrant, it's right there,
Is it just that top sheet?
just the top sheet.
I've been looking at that all night, like.
Yeah, no, that's, so we can print bills this week.
One is under C, and the other one is under L. M is consideration of whether to disclose minutes. We're not doing that. Minutes of a non-public session shall be kept and recorded. I don't think there is a specific one that is titled review of non-public minutes for review and approval.
We may be the only ones in the whole state doing this.
Would make you think so, huh?
What's J, is that just consideration of confidential commercial or financial information that is exempt from public disclosure?
Okay.
Under A5.
A5 is.
A5. Well, it's not an adjudicative proceeding.
All right, I have a proposal. Why don't we table that part of it?
I'm gonna say, if
Ask
we-
town
if we don't-
council.
If we don't know, we're not proceeding, so,
We can ask town
as far
council,
as the minutes go.
Yeah, and then do the other half of it.
So
Okay,
you won't do the first part?
no. So you can have these back for another week.
Okay. So you're gonna go under C to review applications?
Yeah, I'll amend it.
Thank you.
Okay, so scratch the prior motion that was made at 9:42, it's now 9:47, and I will make a motion to enter into a non-public session under RSA 91-A3, Roman numeral 2, number C, for one topic, which is review of the applications for building inspector, code enforcement officer, hopefully down select for future interviews. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Roll call vote. James?
Yes.
Salem?
Yes.
Janice, yes? David?
Yes.
Okay.
And you'll adjourn after?
And we will adjourn after.